Golden Age Radio is starting now. Subscribe to get future updates.
Hey everybody, get ready for some great shows. Starting out with Cavalcade of America, Lux Theater with some great Hollywood stars, Groucho Marx, one of the best comedians in history, and also followed by the hilarious Red Skelton.
The Cavalcade of America, presented by DuPont. This evening, the DuPont Cavalcade of America presents a tribute to national music. All over the country, orchestras, choruses, and smaller groups are honoring music in general and American music in particular. Probably no part of our country has inspired a greater wealth of melody than the South, and its music is sung, played, and enjoyed by all America. Ask a DuPont research chemist about the South, and he will tell you that from the southern states come a great many materials which he uses in his work. For America's agricultural Southland is indeed a true partner of research chemistry in its efforts to reach the goal described in the DuPont Pledge, better things for better living through chemistry. The singers heard on this evening's program are Maria Silvera, soprano, Abby Mitchell, contralto, and the Southern Airs. The DuPont Cavalcade moves forward. Songs of the South, songs of the land of cotton, of big plantations, of magnolia trees, of moonlight, of mockingbirds. It was in the South that the first permanent settlement in America was established, at Jamestown on Jamestown Island in Virginia in 1607. Tobacco brought good prices in England, and the broad, fertile fields of the new colony yielded a rich harvest. But more hands were needed to work the fields. On a sunny spring morning in 1619, 12 years after the first settlement was established, a sailing ship makes its way towards an anchorage in the James River, a ship laden with a valuable cargo. On the shore, a group of settlers watch its progress.
There. They've come about. They'll make the anchorage on this tack.
Aye. The breeze is freshening. Ship is moving faster. We'll be letting go our anchor in a few moments.
The first shipload of African slaves. They'll sell for a good price, Thomas.
Aye. And they'll be worth it if the stories are true. Big men, strong and good-tempered.
Yes, men who can stand the sun and work all day long. We need them in the tobacco fields. Will you be bidding at the slave market tomorrow?
Of course. And so will every other landowner in the colony.
Listen. That booming sound. Is it an Indian drum?
A drum, but not an Indian drum. Strange sound. I've never heard the like of it.
But that sound comes from the ship. The breeze is carrying it to us.
From the ship? Yes, it is. I don't understand. A drum on a slave ship.
Do you hear that, Thomas? They're singing. The slaves are singing.
The slaves singing? Well, it can't be.
But it is. Listen to them.
I can't understand it. They've been taken from their homes in Africa and put on a ship. They've had a long, hard voyage without knowing where they were going. And now they sing. It's strange, Charles. Strange.
Aye, it is strange. But when we come to know them better, we may understand it.
Virginia colonists marveled at the fact that Negro slaves should sing the weird chants they brought with them from their native Africa. But the settlers soon learned that these slaves sang no matter what they were doing. They created their own music to fit the rhythm of all kinds of physical labor. They learned to speak English, and from their African tribal chants, they fashioned many work songs. After the fields had been cleared and drained, the slaves were set to planting the crops. The cotton blossomed and ripened, and when it came time to harvest the snowy white crop, the slaves tackled the work with another song.
The cotton needs to begin so bad, oh, the cotton needs to begin so bad, oh, the cotton needs to begin so bad, wanna clean all over this farm, oh, the cotton needs to begin so bad, oh, the cotton needs to begin so bad, oh, the cotton needs to begin so bad, wanna clean all over this farm, wanna clean all over this farm, wanna clean all over this farm.
When the cotton had been picked and cleaned and ginned, it was baled. The bales were carted to the nearest wharf to await the arrival of a boat on its way to market. Loading the heavy bales on the boat was a job that involved plenty of hard work and therefore plenty of singing. Watching and listening to such a scene, Stephen Foster was inspired to write one of his immortal songs, Roll Out, Heave That Cotton.
Roll out, heave that cotton, roll out, heave that cotton, roll out, heave that cotton, ain't got long to stay. Roll out, heave that cotton, roll out, heave that cotton, roll out, heave that cotton, ain't got long to stay. There goes the last bale.
Next week in Memphis, Tennessee, the annual Cotton Carnival will be celebrated with the crowning of King Cotton and all the other festivities which have made the event famous. In honor of the Cotton Carnival, Don Voorhees and the DuPont Cavalcade Orchestra present a special setting of the daddy of all blues songs, Memphis Blues, the tune which transformed the dance rhythms of the world. And we have a special surprise for you. W.C. Handy, famous Negro composer of Memphis Blues, is here with us. You know his music, not only Memphis Blues, which came first, but Beale Street Blues, St. Louis Blues, and many other compositions. Professor Handy, won't you say a few words?
Well, I'll say a very few words. I brought my trumpet along with me, and if you'll let me, I'll try to say mine with music.
That's fine. Here is Memphis Blues with the composer playing a trumpet solo. Thank you, Professor Handy. Your Memphis Blues certainly established a new vogue in music. From the early days, the music of the South has inspired composers. Anton Dvorak chose a Negro spiritual melody as the dominant theme of his New World Symphony. Let's go back about 80 years and try to discover what life was like on a typical Southern plantation. Up the long, winding driveway to the broad front porch of the big house. It's a bright moonlit night. The air is heavy with the scent of flowers. Let's tiptoe across the porch, into the front hall, and into the drawing room. A young man is seated at the piano. Standing beside him is a young girl singing.
Dreamer, wake unto me. Starlight and dewdrops are waiting for thee. Sounds of a rude voice heard in the day, lulled by the moonlight, have all passed away. Beautiful dreamer, queen of my song, lift while I move with soft melody. Gone are the cares of life's busy throng. Beautiful dreamer, awaken to me. Beautiful
Oh, that was beautiful, Melissa.
Beautiful Dreamer is a beautiful song, Henry.
And it's a beautiful night outside. Let's walk back to the cabins and listen to the Negroes sing.
Oh, I'm not sure Daddy would like it, my going out walking with a man. But come on, we'll go softly. No, not that way. Out the back way. Come along.
All right. Hey, it's dark here.
Wait, now, don't miss that step.
Oh,
Oh, now we can see. Oh, that moon is as bright as day. Come along, Henry. I want to stop at the first cabin and say how to do to my old man.
all right. Is that the cabin, Melissa?
Yes. Mammy Callie is singing one of her grandchildren to sleep. Listen to her.
Don't you fool me, child, no more.
Mammy's little poor little black
See the shadows begin to creep. Shut your eyes and don't you peep. Johnny, go to sleep. Mammy's little poor little black little sheep. You've been bad this livelong day,
Poor little fella.
throwing stones and running away.
Now, don't scold the poor little lamb.
Lordy, you sure is running wild. Why, you look just like some poor folks' child.
No, you don't need it.
Oh, sure
He looks
you.
exactly just like me.
Oh, but why'd you get them putty big brown eyes?
To give after his mammy.
I reckon he did at that. But, honey, why'd you get them great big clumsy feet?
They sure is big, ain't they?
They sure is, and they take right after you on, too.
Gonna whoop him afterward.
Oh, no, you ain't going to whoop Mammy's baby. Well, Mammy wouldn't take $1 million for him. And she wouldn't give 1 cent to have another one just like you.
The cedar shadows begin to creep. Shut your eyes and the door you peep. Don't worry, go to sleep. Mammy's little boy, little black, little sheep.
Is that you, Miss Melissa, outside that window?
Yes, Mammy Callie. Is the baby asleep?
Yeah, he is. And just in time, too. 'Cause I got to get me down to the church.
Oh.
Is you all coming down to the church this evening, Miss Melissa?
I think so.
Well, I start getting along now. If I don't see you no more, good evening to y'all.
Good evening, Mammy Callie. Shall we go down to that church, Henry? It's the old barn right over there. Daddy gave it to them to use.
Yes. Let's walk over. Come along, Melissa. They're singing, and I always like to hear them.
We'll just go in and stand at the back.
All right, come on.
Get on back to our quarters.
That's right.
We've done had a great time here this evening. The Lord has been with us.
Yes,
Oh, and now, before we go, I'm going to ask Sister Callie to lead us into baptizing him. You know, we got to get ourselves ready for that great day when we'll see our Maker face to face. You know, our hands must be clean,
Hallelujah.
name, and our hearts made white like the lilies of the valley.
Preach the word.
Won't sing, Sister Callie.
Lead me to that water.
Lead me to that water. Everybody else sing.
Lead me to that water. And leave that fire. Lead me to that water.
Hallelujah. Praise the Lord.
Lead me to that water.
Praise the Lord.
Lead me to that water.
What's in the harvest?
And leave that fire.
Hallelujah.
Along in the 1840s, a new form of entertainment became popular. It was distinctly American, and it was to become popular all over the world. The minstrel show. In 1889, Haverley's minstrels were playing an engagement in London. This was for the most part a Negro troupe, and the performers were homesick. In the mornings, they haunted the theater, waiting for letters and packages from home. Among them was a famous minstrel end man named James A. Bland. One morning, he arrives at the theater and finds two of his companions.
Hello there, Jim Bland. What you doing down here at the theater this early in the morning?
Same thing you are, Ruth. I'm looking for some letters from home.
Well, you ain't gonna find them. Not yet a while. It's too early for the mail to be in.
How do you happen to be up so early, Ike?
I've been walking my legs off out there in all that rain, trying to find something to eat. Man, I ain't had a square meal since we landed in this London town.
That's so.
Well, look at us. Does we look well fed, Jim and me? Does you think we've been eating greens and cornbread along with nice big hunks of fat meat?
I can't even find a place where they salt the meat they do serve.
And in the meantime, it keeps on raining.
A mess.
This weather's awful.
Certainly is.
We know it don't never rain like this in Virginia.
Boy, I seen it rain cats and dogs in Virginia and fish, too.
But not all day, every day like it does here.
What you doing, Jim?
I'm just trying to play the piano. It cheers me up, sort of.
Nothing could cheer me up in London. You know, Ruth, I wish I was back in Virginia.
Well, who don't?
I've never was in Virginia. They say it's a nice place.
Jim, it's heaven.
It sure is alongside of this town. I wish a chariot of fire would come along and pick me up and carry me back to Virginia.
Wait. Say that again, Ruth.
I didn't say nothing, except I wish a chariot would carry me back to Virginia.
That's it. Carry me back to old Virginia. That's it. Now wait till I get the next phrase. Let me see. It ought to start like this. Tee-ta-twa, pum, 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 tee-ta-ta.
So, in 1889, James A. Bland, an American Negro minstrel man in London, wrote Carry Me Back to Old Virginia, a Southern song that will live through the ages. Many composers have been inspired by the rhythms and harmonies of the Southland. The score of that great musical comedy Showboat is only a few years old, and yet, in some of its selections, we find the spirit of the Old South. The melodies are new, all of them. But when he wrote Old Man River, Jerome Kern gave the world a new composition which combines the spirit of the old Negro work songs and the Negro spirituals. Old Man River.
There's an old man called Mississippi. That's the old man that I'd like to be. What does he care if the world's got trouble? What does he care if the land ain't free? Old Man River, that old man River, he must know something, but don't say nothing. He just keeps rolling, he keeps on rolling along, just keeps on rolling along. It don't plant potatoes, it don't plant cotton, but him that plants them is soon forgotten. But Old Man River, he just keeps rolling along. You and me, we sweat and strain, body all aching and racked with pain. Hurry that vine! Oh. Lift that bell! Oh. You little drunk and you landed get weary. I'm sick of trying. I was tired of living and fear of dying. But Old Man River, he just keeps rolling
The South salutes His Majesty King Cotton in the carnival to be celebrated next week in Memphis. And DuPont joins the whole world of chemistry in acknowledging the debt it owes the South for giving us cotton. Last year alone, DuPont used over 63 million pounds of cotton and cotton linters and making scores of useful products developed through chemical research. Cotton, you know, is one of chemistry's principal sources of cellulose. From cotton cellulose, DuPont chemists created durable, glossy Duco finish, which cuts the time required to finish an automobile from days to hours. And when you look through the shatterproof windshield or window of your car, you're looking through cotton. For safety glass is really a sandwich, two pieces of plate glass with a sheet of transparent cellulose plastic made from cotton in between. Among the dozens of products made of DuPont cellulose plastics are fountain pen barrels, Pyroline toiletware, combs, scuffless heel coverings for women's shoes, and boxes of all kinds, decorative costume jewelry, translucent lampshades, and many more articles, including the humble toothbrush handle. Additional products that Cotton and DuPont chemists have made possible include Aceal, acetate rayon yarn, Fabricoid, textile fabrics coated with cotton cellulose solution and widely used for book bindings, upholstery, handbags, and luggage, Tontine, washable window shades, cleanable tablecloths, and household mending cement. And when you go to the movies or enjoy a day with your camera, you owe a debt to cotton chemistry, too. For all photographic film, including X-ray, employs a base made from cotton cellulose. These useful products and many more come to us from the cotton field through the chemical laboratory. Even this doesn't tell the full story of cotton and chemistry by any means, but it gives some idea of how important cotton, with the help of chemistry, is to you. DuPont chemists are constantly carrying on cotton cellulose research, thereby promising still more interesting and diversified uses for cotton in the future and added sources of income for the cotton grower. Thus, cotton will continue to play an important part in the research chemists' constant efforts to provide, as DuPont expresses it, better things for better living through chemistry. The story of dynamite, incidents in the life of its inventor, Alfred Nobel, and its development in America will be the subject of our broadcast when next week at the same time DuPont again presents the Cavalcade of America.
Enjoying the timeless classics on Golden Age Radio? If you're loving the nostalgia and captivating stories, consider supporting our channel with a tip. Your generosity helps us continue bringing you the best of vintage radio entertainment. Simply click on the link in the description.
From Hollywood, California, the Lux Radio Theater presents Joan Crawford and Basil Rathbun in A Doll's House.
Lux presents Hollywood. It's your purchases of our products, Lux Toilet Soap and Lux Flakes, ladies and gentlemen, that make this program possible. For the splendid loyalty you show us, our sincere gratitude. Last week, we announced an offer of a beautiful compact. So many of the ladies in our audience have taken advantage of this offer, that we are making it again tonight at the end of our program. So please listen carefully and have your pencils ready. Starred tonight are Joan Crawford, Basil Rathbun, Sam Jaffe, Netta Harrigan, and Vernon Steele in A Doll's House. As special guest, Miss Frances Manson, head of the story department of Samuel Golden Productions. Our orchestra is conducted by Louis Silvers. And now, the producer of the Lux Radio Theater. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Cecil B. DeMille.
Greetings from Hollywood, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight's play is the work of one of the loneliest figures in literature, Henrik Ibsen. Poverty-stricken as a boy, Ibsen exiled himself for many years from his native Norway because of the lukewarm reception that country gave his plays. First produced many years ago, A Doll's House provoked a storm of angry criticism because the playwright dared express the belief that a happy marriage must have a foundation of truth, freedom, and intellectual companionship. Like all masterpieces, A Doll's House has a deathless quality and has brought fame to a score of world-renowned actresses, to which list we add tonight the name of Joan Crawford. And no one is less conscious of her success than Joan herself. She tackles each new job with the same I've got to make good attitude that she had when she first arrived here, fresh from a Schubert chorus. A Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer star, Joan is seen next in The Shining Hour and is heard tonight as Nora Helmer. Co-starred as Torvald Helmer, a part more sympathetic than his usual roles, is that master of glistening villainy, Basil Rathbone. One of Hollywood's more gentle and considerate citizens off the screen. This splendid actor is currently flaunting his darksome deviltry in The Adventures of Robin Hood, and is with us this week straight from the set of Paramount's If I Were King. Sam Jaffe, who gave such a remarkable performance of the ancient llama in Lost Horizon, plays Krogstad, the same role which brought him unstinted praise when A Doll's House played on Broadway this season. Netta Harrigan plays Mrs. Linden, and Vernon Steele is Dr. Ronk. And now, the Lux Radio Theater presents Joan Crawford and Basil Rathbone in A Doll's House. The year is 1890. We're in a little town in Norway on a gray September afternoon. Along the windy street in a quiet section of the city, a young woman walks hurriedly, her long dress whipping out behind her, her face half buried in an old-fashioned muff. She glances frequently over her shoulder, as if to assure herself that she's not been noticed. Then she stops, and after a final nervous glance, darts quickly into a doorway.
Well?
It's I, Mrs. Helmer.
Oh. Come in, please. Sit down, Mrs. Helmer.
Thank you.
Wasn't it a little indiscreet of you? To come here, I mean.
Oh, I was very careful, Mr. Krogstad. I'm quite sure no one saw me.
I hope not.
Did you think it over, Mr. Krogstad? The matter we spoke of yesterday?
Yes. The lending of money, Mrs. Helmer, is a serious business.
Oh, I know it is.
It's even more serious when the loan is to be made to a wife without the consent or even knowledge of her husband.
Oh, but he mustn't know. He mustn't even dream that I've borrowed the money. That's why I came to you. You've known him at the bank.
Yes, at the bank and at school. But we were never very friendly.
Well, you worked with him. You must know how he feels about being in debt. He has a dread of it, Mr. Krogstad. He thinks debts are immoral, almost criminal. He'd never allow me to owe the butcher or the baker a single krona.
And now you wish to borrow a great many kronas.
Because he needs it. Oh, you know how ill he's been. And now the doctors say that he must go away to rest. A long rest in Italy. And if he doesn't go, he'll never be well again. I want to save my husband's life, Mr. Krogstad.
Mrs. Helmer, I wish I could help you.
Does that mean you won't? Oh, but I'll pay it back. I promise I will. I'll save and I could make money other ways. I'm very clever at copying.
Mrs. Helmer, is there anyone you could get to sponsor the loan?
Sponsor it?
To sign the note with you and act as surety. I mean a man, of course.
Well, I don't know. There's no one I'd like to ask for fear Torvald would find out. And...
Well, you have a father living.
My father? Oh, would he do?
If he'd sign the note with you, yes.
Oh, then he will. I'm sure he will.
Very well.
Oh, thank you.
Now, here is the note.
Yes?
When you come back to me with the note signed by you here and your father's signature down here, I'll let you have the money.
Oh, how wonderful. It really isn't difficult at all, is it? Oh, I almost wish Torvald could know. Then perhaps he'd see how clever I really am. Oh, but he mustn't. All he must know is that we have money from somewhere and that we're going away to Italy.
Nora, come and sit down.
Don't tire yourself out dancing like that. Now, sit down, Nora, please.
Oh, Torvald, isn't it wonderful? I feel as if I belonged here, as if I'd lived in Italy all my life. Oh, and now I've learned to dance the tarantella.
Yes, and you dance it beautifully, Nora.
Oh, it's so easy to dance here, where your heart is light. Aren't you glad I teased you until you brought me?
Very glad.
Oh, and the rest has been good for you, Torvald, so good.
Oh, nonsense. I never needed a rest.
Oh, no, of course you didn't. It was just for me, and I love you for it.
Well, you can hardly thank me. I could never afford a trip like this. It was strange, your father leaving you that money.
Strange, Torvald?
I always thought he was rather improvident. I was sure that he'd die quite penniless.
Well, he must have had some put away.
Yes. Yeah, nevertheless, it's almost gone, my dear. We'll have to be leaving for home soon.
Oh, I know. But I'm so anxious to see the children again. Ellen, you can put these flowers in water.
Oh, flowers, too,
Oh,
ma'am.
yes, Ellen, and so awfully expensive. Oh, did the Christmas tree come yet?
Yes, ma'am. I put it in the kitchen so the children wouldn't see it.
Is that you, Nora?
Oh, Torvald, I'm so glad you're home. Come and see all the presents I have. Look, Torvald.
You mean to say you've bought all these?
Oh, just a few little things for the children and Ellen and Anna and Dr. Ronk and...
Mm-mm. I suppose you spent every penny I gave you.
Oh, no, I did have some left, and then I saw those heavenly roses.
Oh, but that's so extravagant.
Oh, I
my
know,
dear.
Torvald, I know, but I just couldn't resist.
And what did you buy for yourself?
Oh, I don't need anything.
Nonsense. Tell me, what'd you like? Something useful, something sensible.
Well,
Hmm?
if you really do want to give me something, you could give me money.
Now, Nora.
Oh, and then I could buy myself something, just what I needed.
But there's no Christmas spirit about cold, hard money.
Oh, yes, there is.
But you're so extravagant, Nora. On that trip to Italy last winter, we simply can't afford to go on throwing money about, you know.
Oh, but you'll be making lots of money now, and we could always get a little credit.
Credit? Nora, have you ever known me to borrow money?
No, but it ought to be easy enough now.
I want no creditors in my life, thank you. We've held out all these years without ever owing anyone a penny, and we're certainly not going to begin now at the last minute.
Yes, darling. Of course you know best.
At the same time, we're not exactly paupers. Look, what do you think I've got here?
Oh, Torvald, money? Oh, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50.
Here, give that back.
Oh, Torvald, darling, thank you. This will go a long way.
I should hope so. No one would believe how much it costs a man to keep a little thing like you.
A lady to see you, Mrs. Helmer.
A lady? Well, ask her to come in, Ellen.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, I must get back to the bank for a while.
Goodbye, darling. Come home early tonight.
I'll try.
This way, please.
Who is it, Ellen? Oh.
Nora, how are you? You don't remember me, do you?
No, I don't think I... Why, yes, Christina. Is it really you?
It really is.
Christina. And to think I didn't even know you, but you're so changed.
Yes, I guess I am in 9 or 10 years.
Oh, good heavens, has it been as long as that? But what are you doing in town?
I arrived on the morning boat.
Oh, yes, to spend Christmas. How wonderful. Oh, what a thoughtless wretch I am. Oh, darling, how can you forgive me?
Forgive you?
Oh, Christina, I forgot that your husband...
Yes, my husband died 3 years ago.
Yes, I saw it in the papers, but, well, you know how it is. Did he leave you anything?
Nothing.
Not even any children?
No.
Nothing? Not anything?
Not even a regret.
Oh, darling, you must tell me the whole story. I never would have dreamed it. It must have been awful. And to be absolutely alone afterwards. Oh, you know, I have two of the sweetest children. Just wait till you see them. They're out with their nurse now, so there's nothing to disturb us, and you can tell me all about it.
No, dear. You tell me.
No, really, darling, I won't be selfish today. But I must tell you one thing. Have you heard of our wonderful luck?
No, what is it?
My husband has been appointed manager of the savings bank.
He has? Oh, how splendid.
It is. Oh, Christina, can you imagine how it makes you feel to have lots of money? Not only what you need, but just heaps of money.
Oh, Nora. Nora, you haven't changed a bit. You're still the same old Spencer.
Oh, don't be ridiculous. I've had to work.
You work? Oh, but why?
Well, Torvald was ill, you know, and of course you mustn't tell Christina.
Tell what?
Well, we needed money, and of course we didn't have any, so I went... inherited the money from my father.
Nora, wasn't it a little rash of you?
But it saved his life.
But won't you tell him?
Oh, after a great many years, perhaps, when I'm not so young. Oh, don't laugh, Christina. I mean when Torvald isn't so much in love with me. When it isn't fun for him any longer to see me skipping about and dressing up and acting. Well, then it might be good to have something in reserve.
Oh.
Now, what about you? What are you going to do, Christina?
Oh, I wish I knew, my dear. I'll have to find work, I suppose. I was wondering a while ago, Nora, if...
What, Christina?
Well, with your husband a bank official...
You mean he might be able to do something for you?
Well, I was hoping...
Oh, darling, that's a wonderful idea.
Nora, do you really suppose...
Oh, just you leave it all to me. I'll give you a note to him, and you go to the bank and see him. Oh, I know he'll give you the position if I ask.
Nora, you don't know how much this means to me.
Poor Christina. I'll write the note at once. Children, come in, darlings. Mama's here.
Mama, he threw a snowball and hit me. I did not. I hit him back.
Oh, my baby. Such cheeks. Darling, you've been out for hours. Aren't you frozen?
I'm warm. I saw a dog, Mama. He ran after a man and he growled. I saw the dog, too.
Oh, did you, my sweet?
And the man picked up a stick and the dog ran around biting people.
Really? Oh, I know he didn't bite you, though, did he, darling?
I'd like a dog.
I'll just take their coats, ma'am.
Oh, yes, Ellen.
Can we play now, Mama?
Of course, darling. Any single thing you want is Christmas Eve.
I want to play Blind Man's Buff.
Blind Man's Buff? All right, now you know what you do first.
I know, Mama.
Excuse me.
Oh,
It's a man, Mama.
what do you want, Mr. Crookstead?
You see, the door was open, and I thought...
My husband's not at home, Mr. Crookstead.
Yes, I know.
Children, go to Ellen.
Come on, Emmy. Wait for me.
What did you come here for? It isn't the first of the month, Mr. Crookstead.
It isn't that. I wanted to ask you something. An hour ago at the bank, a lady asked to see Mr. Helmer. She said she had a note from you.
Well?
Would you mind telling me if that lady was a Mrs. Linden?
Yes. Do you know her?
I haven't seen her for a great many years. Naturally, I was surprised when I heard her inquire for your husband.
It isn't surprising. She's going to be given a position at the bank.
She is?
Why, yes.
But how?
Well, you see, sometimes a little influence with the right people, Mr. Crookstead.
You mean you had something to do with it?
Well, naturally, I did what I could for my friend. Why?
Come now, Mrs. Helmer. You know very well whose job it is your friend is getting.
What are you talking about?
So I'm just to be thrown out, am I?
What?
Oh, you needn't pretend you didn't know.
How dare you talk like that to me? I didn't know. My husband doesn't tell me his business.
Mrs. Helmer, I must ask you to use your influence for me.
But I have no influence whatever.
But you just said you had,
That's
Mrs. Helmer.
quite different. If someone is to be hired, and if Mrs. Linden is capable, being an old friend of mine might help with my husband. But this is different. Do you expect me to be able to tell my husband what to do? I'm truly sorry for you.
Mrs. Helmer, I don't want your pity. I want your help.
You're
You
trying to
really
frighten me.
can't refuse me.
You're trying to frighten me, but I'm not afraid of you anymore. In a little while, I'll have paid off the note, and I'll be through with the whole business.
Please listen to me, Mrs. Helmer. Try to understand that it's vital for me to keep my job at the bank.
I'm sorry, but really, I'm quite helpless.
I tell you, I've got to keep it, that's all. I've got children, and they're growing up. They need to have a father who's able to hold up his head in a respectable position. I tell you, my job at the bank is the only chance I've got to get anywhere.
I'm sorry, but I just can't listen.
You've got to listen.
Mr. Krogstad, you're threatening me.
I don't care what you call it.
Would you tell my husband I owe you money?
I don't know.
Why, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. When it's all my own secret, and I'm so proud of it. Why, if he heard about it that way, there's no telling how unpleasant it would be.
Unpleasant? Mrs. Helmer, I'm afraid there are some things you don't understand very well. Let me make them clearer for you.
You needn't bother.
When your husband was ill, you came to me to borrow a sum of money. I promised to find you the money in exchange for a written agreement which I drew up. Your father was to sign this agreement.
Was to? He did sign it.
Did he, Mrs. Helmer?
Well, you know he did it. Anyway, haven't I made my payments on time?
Mrs. Helmer, your father was very ill, wasn't he?
Yes, he was on his deathbed.
Tell me, Mrs. Helmer, do you happen to remember the day he died? The day of the month, I mean.
It was the 29th of September.
Ah, that's correct. But you see, I made a little investigation for myself, and I discovered a rather remarkable fact, which I can't quite explain.
What remarkable fact?
The remarkable fact is, or seems to be, that your father signed this paper 3 days after his death.
I don't understand.
Well, neither do I, Mrs. Helmer. Here your father dies on the 29th of September, and here he signs his name on October the 2nd. There's the date, don't you see? Now, isn't that remarkable? Perhaps you can explain it. Your father really did write his name here himself, didn't he?
No. No, I wrote it.
Do you realize what you're admitting? That was a very dangerous thing to do, Mrs. Helmer.
But why? You'll have your last payment in a few days.
Mrs. Helmer, you really don't seem to understand what you've done. Do you know, Mrs. Helmer, that I did something just about like that once, and it ruined me?
You mean you took a risk to save someone's life?
The law, Mrs. Helmer, takes no account of motives.
Then the law must be very bad.
Bad or not, if I take this paper to court, the law will condemn you exactly as it did me.
I don't believe it. As if I didn't have the right to save my father from worry when he was dying. As if anyone should tell me that I hadn't the right to save my husband's life. I don't know very much about law, and I don't want to if that's the way it is. But I'm certain they'd let you do that. Why, the idea of not knowing they would when you're a lawyer. You must be a very poor one.
Maybe I am. But I do understand something about this business you and I are in together. And now, Mrs. Helmer, you can do exactly as you please. But let me tell you this one thing. If I'm thrown off into the mud again, there'll be others to keep me company.
Well, I must go, Torvald.
No, not yet. It's Christmas Eve.
Well, I don't hear Nora persuading me.
Oh, what? Oh, yes, please say, Dr. Ron.
No. I have patients waiting for me in the morning. People are as sick on Christmas Day as any other day.
Then you must come again tomorrow.
I will, if I'm still alive.
Oh, what a way for a doctor to talk.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night, Doctor.
Well, I still have a little work to do before bed.
Oh, no, Torvald. I want you to talk with me.
Now, what would that be about? By the way, was anyone here this afternoon?
No, just Christina. You gave her the position, Torvald.
Oh, yes. Yes, but when I came home, I thought I saw Krogstad leaving the house.
Krogstad? Well, he really was here, but just for a minute.
Nora.
Well, it was just for a minute.
Nora, look at me. I'm very, very much surprised. Krogstad has been asking you to put in a good word for him, hasn't he?
Are you going to be angry with me?
And you were supposed to do it just as if you'd thought of it yourself.
Well, yes, but I...
No, Nora. And you could stoop to that, to speak to such a man, to make a promise, and then to lie about it. To me. Now, you won't do that again, will you, dear? Will you? Well, we won't say any more about it.
Torvald, tell me, was it really something awful this Krogstad got into trouble over?
Oh, forgery, that's all. You know what that means.
But don't you think he might have been forced to do it?
Perhaps. And I'm not so hard-hearted as to condemn a man for a single slip.
Oh, no, of course not.
And a man can redeem his character if he admits his crime and takes his punishment.
Crime?
But Krogstad didn't. He dodged and used all kinds of tricks. He was disbarred, of course, but he should have been sent to jail.
But don't you think he had responsibilities, children? After all, he might have done it for their sake.
Yeah, that's the worst of it. It's like a poison, especially for the children.
How do you mean?
Oh, I've seen it time and time again. It's really amazing to see how criminal tendencies in children can be traced to lying parents. This Krogstad has been contaminating his children for years.
But how?
Oh, by his life of lies and deceit, of course. They're all drawn into it with him. Sad, isn't it? I can sympathize with you when you feel sorry for him. But you'll promise not to say any more about it. Well, I'm going to my study. I won't be long.
Oh, dear God.
Mrs. Helmer. Mrs. Helmer, the children want to come and say good night.
What?
The children. Shall I bring them in to you?
No. No, not now, Ellen.
So ends the first act of A Doll's House, starring Joan Crawford and Basil Rathbone. Before they return in the second act, we want to present to you in verse our own version of a few historical love affairs. We must admit we've improved on history a little, which is just another way of saying that you'll find our verse historically inaccurate. Anyway, we think you'll find it amusing. Our first subject is the devastating Helen of Troy.
Greek Helen of Troy had a way with a boy that caused the upheaval of nations. To buy her a cloak, Menelaus went broke, and an army went short on its rations. But her jewels counted naught, her robes were but aught we've learned from historical data. We'll give you the dope. She used Lux toilet soap, and her face was what launched the regatta.
We jump now to colonial times and to the comely maiden, Priscilla.
Priscilla was fair and had smoothly brushed hair when John came to woo her for Standish. But she wanted John with no pro or con. Why, the idea of Miles was outlandish. She got her own way, and her confidence lay not in clothes so demure and colonial. It's easy. Why, shucks. It's because she used Lux. It's a passport to things matrimonial.
And now we come to Miss 1938, in whom we're all most interested.
The girl of today wears a suit and beret. She ponders on color selection. But though fashions vary, they are still secondary compared with a lovely complexion. And she knows it still pays, as it did in past days, to keep her skin clear and attractive. And, of course, if she's clever, she'll do it forever with Lux, for its lather is active.
The famous beauties of history understood the relation between lovely skin and romance. The famous beauties of our own day, the lovely stars of Hollywood, understand it, too. 9 out of 10 of them use Lux toilet soap to protect their beauty. Its active lather removes dust, dirt, and stale cosmetics thoroughly. Guards against choked pores that cause cosmetic skin, dullness, tiny blemishes, enlarged pores. Protect the loveliness of your skin the easy Hollywood way. Use Lux toilet soap before you renew makeup, always before you go to bed. May I remind you that an important announcement comes at the end of our performance tonight. I suggest that the ladies have pencil and paper ready. Now, our producer.
Joan Crawford and Basil Rathbone continue in A Doll's House with Sam Jaffe and Netta Harrigan. Christmas Day finds Nora in a state close to hysteria. Under the influence of her husband's stern philosophy, she's fearful of contaminating her children with her presence. And so she's not seen them for almost 24 hours. Now, late in the afternoon, she knocks timidly at the door of her husband's study.
Come in. Well, Nora?
Am I disturbing you, Torvald?
Oh, well, just a little, but, what do you want, dear?
Torvald, if I were to ask you for something, to beg you for something very prettily, would you do it?
Nora, you can't mean what you were hinting at yesterday.
Oh, yes, for my sake, Torvald. You must let Krogstad keep his place in the bank.
My dear Nora, it's his place that I'm giving to your friend, Mrs. Linden.
Yes, darling, and that's so good of you, but instead of Krogstad, couldn't you just dismiss some other clerk?
Dismiss some other clerk? What's the matter with you, Nora? Just because you were impulsive enough to promise to put in a good word for him, I'm to...
No, it's not that. It's not that I said anything to him, but it's for your own sake, Torvald. I'm so terribly afraid of him.
Why?
Well, I hear he's rather malicious, and there's no telling what he might say. That's why I beg you.
Yes, and the more you plead for him, the more you make it impossible for me to keep him on.
Oh, darling, please.
Now, there's no use going any further with this. The matter's closed. I've just sent a messenger out with a letter.
What letter?
Krogstad's dismissal.
Oh, call it back again, Torvald. There's still time for my sake, for your own. Oh, listen, please, Torvald. You don't know what might happen because of it.
Now, come, Nora. What do you expect me to do? Worry about being slandered or blackmailed by a wretched fellow like Krogstad? Really? I can forgive you only because I know it's proof of your love for me. And that's as it should be. Let what will happen when it comes to the pinch. I think you'll find my shoulders are broad enough to bear the burden.
No, you'll never do that. I won't let you.
Well, we'll do it together then. We'll share it. Man and wife. How would you like that? Now. Stop worrying. It's just your imagination. I'll tell you what. Take your tambourine and practice your tarantella.
Tarantella?
Yes. You're going to dance it at the Stenbogs' party tonight. You haven't forgotten, have you?
No, I remember.
Oh, Mrs. Helmer.
Is Dr. Ronkin?
Why, yes, come in.
Come in, Nora.
Thank you.
Well, sit down, Nora. I was just about to leave for your house.
Dr. Ronkin, there's something I want to ask you. I'm not disturbing you, am I?
I always have time for you, Nora. I always will have. Just as long as I'm able.
As long as... What does that mean?
Does that frighten you?
Well, I think it's an odd expression, isn't it? Do you expect anything to happen?
Oh, something that's no surprise.
Is there something you've really discovered?
I've been auditing my life account, Nora.
Oh, you've discovered something about yourself.
Yes, and it looks as if I'm bankrupt. Before very long, my poor carcass will be rotting in the churchyard.
What a dreadful way to talk.
Dreadful? Well, it's a dreadful business. There's one final test to be made, and then we'll know exactly when disintegration sets in.
Oh, Dr. Rank.
As soon as I'm certain of the worst, I'll send you my visiting card, and then you'll know that really serious things have begun.
I won't listen. You know you're exaggerating. You just like to talk this way. You mustn't think of dying and leaving Torvald and me. You're our oldest friend.
Oh, you'll get over it. The absent are soon forgotten.
Do you think so?
People make fresh ties. Although I do hate to leave it all.
Oh, nonsense. You shan't leave us.
And without leaving behind as much as a little token of gratitude. Nothing but some space. The first person that comes along can fill that.
And just suppose if I were to ask you for...
For what?
For a great proof of your friendship. For a very, very great service.
Would you, for once, make me so happy?
Oh, but you don't know what it is.
Then tell me. Don't you trust me?
Oh, I do, Dr. Rank. It's something you must help me prevent. You know how deeply, how really deeply Torvald loves me. He wouldn't hesitate a moment to give his very life for me.
Nora, do you think he's the only one?
What do you mean?
Who'd gladly give his life for you?
Oh.
I wanted to say it to you once, before I go away. I'll never find a better moment. Well, I've told you. Now you know you can trust me as you can trust no one else.
Dr. Rank.
Well?
How could you be so... Why did you say that? It was all so nice before.
Nora,
oh,
please.
I can't tell you anything now.
You mustn't punish me, not that way. Let me help you,
No,
Nora.
you can't do anything for me now. Besides, it's not... Oh, I really don't want any help. I have to leave now. Goodbye, Dr. Rank.
Oh, I'm glad you've come home, ma'am. There's a man here to see you. Mr. Krogstad.
Here? Ellen, where's Mr. Helmer?
He's out, ma'am. Gone over to fetch Dr. Rank.
Oh,
Mr. Krogstad's in the library, ma'am.
thank you, Ellen. What do you want here?
I want some information, Mrs. Helmer.
Be quick, then. What is it?
You know I've been dismissed.
I couldn't prevent it, Mr. Krogstad. I fought and I stood up for you, but it wasn't any use.
Oh. Is that all he cares
Oh,
for?
please, you won't tell. Think of my children.
Why should I? Did you and your husband think of mine? However, I've come to tell you that you needn't take this matter too seriously. I'm not going to use this information I've got. Not for the present, anyway.
Oh, Mr. Krogstad, I knew you wouldn't.
In fact, no one need know. It can remain just between us three.
Oh, no. My husband must never know.
Why? Are you ready to pay off the balance?
Well, no, not at the moment, but it won't be long before it's all paid and then...
No. I'm going to hold on to that note.
Why? What would you do with it?
Just keep it, Mrs. Helmer. Don't worry. No one else will ever know anything about it. So that if you had any desperate scheme in mind, put it right out of your head. We all think such things at first. I did too, Mrs. Helmer. But I didn't have the courage.
Nor I.
No. You wouldn't have the courage either. Would you, Mrs. Helmer? It would be very foolish. Very, very foolish. Now, I've written a letter to your husband.
To my husband?
Sparing you as much as possible.
But he must never see it. Tear the letter up. I'll get the money somehow.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Helmer, but I think I've told you I don't want it.
Well, then what do you want?
I'll tell you what I want. I want to regain my foothold in the world. I want to get back to where I belong. I want to rise. And your husband shall help me.
No, he won't.
He will. I know him, Mrs. Helmer. He won't dare put up a fight. And when he and I are together there, you'll see. Yes, within a year, I shall be his right-hand man. It won't be Torvald Helmer. It'll be Niels Krogstad who runs the bank.
No.
No? Who will stop me?
Somebody who has the courage.
Oh, you can't frighten me. A petted, pampered creature like you.
Oh, you'll see. You'll see.
Under the ice, perhaps? Down in the cold, black water? The next spring to come up again ugly? Unrecognizable? No. People don't do that sort of thing, Mrs. Helmer. And anyway, what will be the use of it? I've got your husband in my pocket, no matter what you do.
Not after I'm gone. Not after
You forget. Your reputation is in my hands. You can think of that when you're planning to do something foolish. I'll drop this letter in the mailbox on my way out.
No, please.
I expect to hear from your husband very soon.
Oh, Christina.
What are you doing, my dear?
I'm trying to get the mailbox open.
But where's the key?
I haven't one. Christina, look. There's a letter in there, and it's from Krogstad.
Krogstad?
Yes, and now Torvald will know everything.
Oh, believe me, dear. It will really be best for both of you.
But you don't understand. I forged a name. I forged Papa's name.
Nora.
Listen, Christina. You must witness.
Witness? What is there to witness?
If anything should happen, if I should go out of my mind, if anything should happen so that I wouldn't be here.
Nora, you've lost control of yourself.
If anyone else should try to take the whole blame on himself, you are my witness that it was all my doing. No one else knew anything about it.
Nora.
Oh, I'm not out of my mind, Christina. I know what I'm saying. I did the whole thing. You will remember, won't you?
Of course I'll remember, but I don't know what you mean.
Oh, no. No, how could you? Because a very wonderful thing is going to happen. A miracle is going to come.
Miracle?
Yes, a very wonderful thing. But it's so terrible, too, Christina. Oh, it mustn't happen.
Don't, dear. I shall go to Krogstad right now and talk to him.
You? What can you do?
In the old days, he would have done anything for me.
Krogstad?
I knew him very well.
Nonsense. You must come tonight.
No, I'd better not.
Oh, listen.
But everyone will
It's Torvald and Dr. Rank. They're coming up the stairs. Torvald mustn't see
Go
me.
inside. I'll try to find
What in
Krogstad.
heaven's name are
Don't
you
give up
talking
hope,
about?
Nora.
A miracle. It must happen. Oh, it must.
Come in, Rank. And I still say you're quite mad.
Perhaps.
Well, Nora, home again?
Yes. How do you do, Dr. Rank?
Good evening, Nora.
Oh, what's the matter with you, Nora? You look quite upset. Have you been practicing too hard?
No, I haven't practiced at all yet.
But you'll have to.
Oh, yes, I must. I must practice a great deal. But, Torvald, I can't without you. I know I've forgotten everything.
Oh, well, when you've worked on it, it'll come back to you. Sit down, Rank.
Where are you going, Torvald?
Just have a look at the mailbox.
Oh, no, don't do that.
Oh, why not?
Torvald, I'm sure there are no letters there.
Well, just let me look
Oh,
at
no,
it.
if you don't rehearse with me, I won't be able to dance tonight.
What? You're really as nervous as all that about it?
Terribly, Torvald. Let's rehearse now. There's time before dinner. Sit down and play for me, and you can direct me. You know the way you used to do.
All right. What a creature.
Play, Torvald, play.
Slower.
I can't do it any slower.
Not so violently, Nora.
But I must.
Oh, Nora, that will never do.
Oh, Torvald, please. I told you I needed to practice.
Let me play for her. Perhaps we can do it slow.
Oh, yes, please. Now, look, Torvald, sit here, and then you can watch me.
All right. Now try to calm yourself.
Yes, darling, I will. How's this, Torvald? Is it better?
Nora, there's no need to dance as though it were a matter of life and death. Right, stop. This is all out of control. Stop, I say. Nora, I don't see how you could have forgotten everything that way.
But I told you I had. Oh, Torvald, you must practice with me right up to the last minute. Promise, Torvald.
Well, certainly, if you wish.
For you to think of nothing but me. Not a letter, not a paper. You mustn't even look at the mailbox until after the party.
Very well, my dear. But you seem so overwrought. Now, let's all go in and we'll have dinner and then we can practice again later.
Thank you, Torvald.
Come along, Rank.
Thanks.
7 o'clock. 5 hours until midnight. And the tarantella will be over. 5 hours to live.
Nora, are you coming?
Coming, Torvald?
We pause for station identification. This is the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Curtain falls on Act 2 of A Doll's House. Before we hear Joan Crawford and Basil Rathbun in Act 3, we spend this brief intermission with another personality from backstage Hollywood, Frances Manson, chief story editor of Samuel Goldwyn Productions. Miss Manson came here from Columbia University, where she taught short story writing and advertising. Today, she's one of that highly important group who, seeking for good motion picture stories, wade through the vast mass of material turned out by the world's authors. And now, Miss Manson, what's your story?
A complaint, Mr. DeMille. We've had a very definite lack of story material. If good stories were only half as plentiful around Hollywood as Lux soap, I'd be a lot happier. There's a cake of Lux in practically every dressing room in Hollywood, but there are only about 10 good motion picture ideas in every 1,100 stories. In spite of the fact that about half the letters that come to producers are from people claiming they have great ideas for film stories, we're still screaming for new material. Many of these unsolicited stories may be great, but every unknown writer who sends us one is certain of receiving it back promptly and unopened.
We can't give them a chance because we can't take a chance.
That's it. A lot of people think we're just waiting for the opportunity to steal their ideas. Obviously, that isn't true, and here's a typical example. We received a letter from a man who said, I have a great idea for Gary Cooper. Make him a cowboy in his next picture and let him fall in love with a society girl. Please send me a check for $1,000 immediately as I am going on my vacation next Tuesday.
I assume he went on his vacation without your assistance.
Right. You know as well as I do, Mr. DeMille, that such a vague suggestion doesn't mean very much. An idea like that is so obvious that it had already occurred dozens of times to writers at the studio and hundreds of times to people outside the studio. As a matter of fact, in reference to this particular case, Mr. Goldwyn had already started work on a picture called The Lady and the Cowboy with Gary Cooper and Meryl Oberon. Imagine how embarrassing it would be if we read every manuscript we received. Without a doubt, a manuscript would be bound to contain an episode somewhere in it that might slightly resemble part of our movie script. And human nature being what it is, we would never convince the would-be author that we had not stolen his play and changed it around to suit ourselves. The safest plan for all concerned is the one we follow, namely not to open any manuscript which comes in unsolicited. This is the firmest rule in Hollywood.
Then what outlets are open to the would-be screenwriter, Miss Manson?
My advice is this. Prove your ability first, write for the magazines, for the book publishers, or the play producers, and we'll grab you without further delay. In other words, if you want to write for Hollywood, don't write for Hollywood until we ask you.
Well, what do you think of the ones we've already asked?
As a rule, the important screenwriters are quite as temperamental as actors, but at times you can't blame them because the producers they work for are temperamental too.
Heresy, Miss Manson. That requires explanation.
I can recall one producer who summoned in his writers and said he wanted the scope of the story to be much bigger. This isn't big enough, he said. I want it to be great. I want it to be infinitesimal. And the producer was not Mr. Goldwyn. Then there's the producer who reluctantly agreed to read a certain writer's story. All right, he said, I'll read it with an open mind, but I may as well warn you, I think it's terrible.
But writers, in turn, are often something of a problem to producers. For instance, Robert Riskin has to write every line of a screenplay in longhand. S.K. Lauren has to go away and do his creating in a shack. Joe Swirling will spend weeks at wood carving and not write a single line, then suddenly appear, call for a dictaphone, and give forth a complete shooting script without having put a word down on paper.
Still, in my opinion, the screenwriter is entitled to every bit of individuality he cares to assert. The fact remains that he delivers the goods and contributes what, to me, is the most important phase of pictures, the story. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Manson. Act 3 of A Doll's House, starring Joan Crawford and Basil Rathbun with Sam Jaffe and Netta Harrigan. Later the same night, with Christina gone to use her influence with Krogstad, Nora dances at the party. Faster and faster she whirls about the room, her cheeks 2 spots of crimson, her eyes burning, and then the tarantella ends.
Nora, come here.
Oh, Torvald, did I dance well?
You were magnificent, my dear. You remembered everything I told you. Come now. We must go home.
Oh, no, not yet, darling. Just a little longer.
But it's late, Nora, and you're tired.
Yes. Yes, I am tired.
Come along, dear. We'll say good night. So slowly, Nora. Let me help you.
I'm even more tired than I thought.
There we are. You see, I was perfectly right not to let you stay any longer.
Yes, darling. Everything you do is right. Torval, what are you doing?
I want to clear out the mailbox.
So late, Torval. Won't tomorrow do?
Look at all the letters that have collected. Why? What's this?
What?
Dr. Rank's visiting card. It was right on top. He must have just put it in tonight. I wonder what this means.
What is it?
This black cross over his name. What a ghastly idea. You'd think he was announcing his own death.
He is.
What? How do you know? Has he told you something?
That card is his farewell. He's going to shut himself up alone and die.
Oh, poor old Rank. Of course, I knew we couldn't hope to keep him long, but so soon. And to go off alone, like a wounded animal.
When one goes, it's best to go silently, don't you think?
I just can't realize that he's gone. He'd grown into our lives so. Oh, well, perhaps it's for the best, at least for him. And for us, too, because now we have to depend entirely on each other. Go in, dear. Oh, it's a relief to be home again. Come here, Nora, you enchanting creature.
Torval, don't, please.
Why not? Oh, I know what it is. You have the tarantella still in your blood, and it makes you all the more tempting.
Read your letters, Torval.
Oh, but a moment ago, you asked me to wait. Oh, my darling, I can't hold you close enough. You know, I wish sometimes that you were in some great trouble, so that I could do something really marvelous for you, risk my body and soul, everything.
Please, you must read your letters, Torval.
What an insistent creature. Very well. Let me see. This is strange. A letter from Krogstad. I wonder if he's going to ask... What's this? Nora, do you know what's in this letter?
Yes.
He says that you're a forger. That you forged your father's name. Is it true?
I loved you, Torval.
Answer me! Is it true?
It was all because I loved you.
Stop saying that.
Yes, it's true.
You fool! What have you done?
Torval, you're not going to take this on yourself. You're not to try to save me.
Oh, don't be melodramatic. Do you understand what you've done?
Yes.
You've ruined my future. Do you know that? You've put me in the hands of a scoundrel. From now on, he can do whatever he likes with me. Demand what he chooses. Domineer over me as much as he likes, and I must submit to everything.
When I'm out of the world, you'll be free.
Out of the world? Oh, this is no time for fine phrases. What good would it do if you were out of the world? He blabbed the story just the same, and people might even suspect me of having been a part of it. Did you ever stop to think of that? They'd say that I was at the bottom of it, that I'd egged you on. And it's you I have to thank for all this. You whom I've petted and spoiled all our married life. Now do you understand what you've done to me?
Yes.
I just can't believe it. I've got to keep him quiet somehow. That's it. People simply mustn't find out that there's anything at all out of the way. Well, we'll make things look as though nothing had happened between us. And oh, what can that be at this hour? What is it?
A letter for you, sir. Mr. Krogstad asked me to deliver it.
Krogstad, give it here. Oh, what more can he do to me now?
Torval,
Be quiet. Why? What? Look. It's a promissory note. It's your note. He's returned it. I don't understand. What does he say? Returning your wife's note, I regret my actions in this matter. Mrs. Linden has convinced me that... Oh, Nora! Nora, thank God! I'm saved!
And I?
You too, yes, of course, darling. We're saved, Nora. It's all over. It's finished. I'll tear it up. I won't even look at it. The whole thing shall just disappear like a dream. Oh, Nora, these must have been terrible days for you.
Yes, they have been.
Yes, I see now. You did it because you loved me. It was just that you went about it in the wrong way, dear. You didn't have the experience to know how. But the next time, you see, dearest, you must come to me. You do realize that, don't you? Nora, you're not going to remember the things I said, are you? Why, the whole world seemed to be falling to pieces around me. It's all going to be forgotten. I forgive you.
Thank you for your forgiveness, Torval.
Thank you. Is that all you have to say to me? Why do you look at me so strangely? Now, dear, you'd better go and get some sleep.
I shall not sleep tonight.
But it's late.
It's not so late. Sit down, Torval.
Nora, what do you mean? Your face is so cold and set.
Sit down, Torval.
Nora, you frighten me. I don't understand you.
That's just it. You don't understand me, and I've never understood you until tonight.
What do you mean?
Doesn't one thing strike you as strange as we sit here?
Nora, what are you talking about?
We've been married 8 years. Doesn't it occur to you that this is the first time we two have talked together seriously?
Oh, my dear child, what have you to do with serious things?
I've had a great injustice done me, Torval. First by my father, and then by you.
Your father and me?
Yes. When I was at home, Father used to tell me all his opinions, and I always agreed with them. He used to call me his doll child and play with me, just the way I played with my dolls. And then I came to live in your house.
Oh, what a way to talk about our
Well,
marriage.
I mean, I changed hands from his to yours. And I heard your opinions and agreed with them, or pretended to.
Nora.
I've been living here like a beggar by performing tricks for you. That's the way you would have it. You and my father are responsible. It's your fault my life has come to nothing.
Nora, haven't you been happy here?
No. Only merry. You've always been kind to me, but our house has been nothing but a nursery. I've been your doll wife, just as I used to be Father's doll child. And in the same way, my children have been my dolls. That's what our marriage has been, Torval.
Well, perhaps there is some truth in what you say. But, Nora, from now on, it will be different.
Yes. Very different. I'm leaving you, Torval.
What are you saying?
I can't stay with you.
You've lost your mind. I won't allow it.
I'll spend the night with Christina, and tomorrow I'm going home.
You mean that you propose to leave your home, your husband, and your children? And have you considered what people will say?
I don't care what they say. From now on, I must think things out for myself.
Oh, you talk like a child. Desert your home, you can't. These things are your duty, your sacred duty.
I have other duties equally sacred.
Name them.
My duties toward myself. Before all else, I'm a human being, just as much as you are. And if I'm not, then I must try to become one.
Nora, you're ill. I almost think that you're out of your senses.
I've never felt so clear or so certain.
Clear and certain enough to forsake your husband and children?
Yes.
Oh, then there's only one possible explanation. You don't love me anymore.
Yes, that's just it.
Nora.
I'm sorry, but I can't help it. I don't love you anymore.
You're clear and certain of that, too?
Yes.
And can you explain to me at what moment you ceased to love me?
Yes, I can. It was this evening when the miracle that I expected to happen didn't happen. It was then I saw that you were not the man I'd imagined.
I don't understand you.
For 8 years now, I've been waiting for a certain wonderful thing to happen between you and me. And I've been waiting patiently because I know that really wonderful things can't happen every day. And when I saw that this catastrophe was hanging over me, I said to myself, it's coming. The miracle is coming.
When was this?
Torval, when Crooksted's letter was lying in the box, it never occurred to me that you'd think for a minute of submitting to that man's conditions. I was certain that you'd say to him, all right, tell everybody, publish it to the whole world. And I was certain that after that...
After that, what? When I'd covered my wife's name with shame and disgrace?
Oh, then I was sure you'd come forward and take the whole thing on yourself. You'd say, I'm the guilty one.
I? But Nora...
Oh, I'd never have accepted such a sacrifice. Of course not. But what would my word have been against yours? That was the miracle I hoped for and dreaded. And to prevent that, I wanted to die.
Nora, I would gladly work day and night for you. I'd bear any sorrows and want. But no man sacrifices his honor even for the woman he loves.
Millions of women have done it.
Oh, you talk like a child. You think like a child.
When you got over being frightened, not for me, but for yourself, and you knew there was nothing more to fear, then it was as if nothing had happened. I was your doll again, and you would take twice as much care of it in the future because I was so weak and fragile. Torval, it burst on me in that moment that I'd been married for 8 years to a man I hardly knew.
But you're still my wife, now and always.
Torval, when a wife leaves her husband's house, as I'm doing, I've heard that in the eyes of the law, he's free from all duties to her. At all events, I release you from all duties to me. Here's your ring. Give me mine. Here are the keys. Tomorrow when I've left town, Christina will come and pack up the things I've brought from home. I'll have them sent off to me.
Is everything over? Nora, will you never think of me again?
Torvald, I shall often think of you and the children and this house.
May I write to you, Nora?
No, never. You mustn't.
But I must send you...
No, I say.
Can I never be anything more than a stranger to you?
Perhaps. Someday. Oh, Torvald, if that the miracle would have to happen.
What's that?
Both of us would have to change so that... Oh, that I no longer believe in miracles.
Perhaps I do. Tell me, Nora.
So changed that our marriage would be real, with a real love to hold us together. Goodbye.
Nora, wait!
Goodbye, Torvald.
Nora! A miracle. Perhaps someday. Yes, that miracle will happen. It's got to happen.
And so we take our leave of Ibsen's play. A little later, Melville Ruick brings you the important announcement mentioned earlier tonight. But now, we meet the two principal tenants of A Doll's House, Joan Crawford and Basil Rathbun. Basil, you're such a scoundrel in pictures, so persistently. How did it feel to take off the whiskers and play a less villainous role?
Well, C.B., getting into A Doll's House was like getting out of a dog's house. I've played villains on the screen so long that every time the steam radiators hiss at my house, I take a bow. But what's particularly interesting to me is that I've never been a villain on the air.
I've often wondered, Basil, what type of letters the fans write to you men who put the menace in the movies.
Oh, I get a lot of letters, Joan. The only trouble is that they all seem to have the same idea. They just hope that someday I'll get the thrashing I deserve.
But the more disliked you are by the audience, the better the producers like you.
Well, that's comforting anyway. I've been perforated by swords so many times, I now train on a bed of nails. Rather sad, don't you think? I never know just how to save my skin from lunging heroes.
Did you ever try Lux soap? 9 out of 10 stars protect their skin with it.
Yes, but Lux soap makes me look so completely lovely, John. I'd soon be out of work. Yes, I'd get to look like you, and that...
That's all right, Basil. I understand. And until I want to look like your partner in crime, I'm going to continue using Lux soap, because I don't think there's anything nicer for a lovely complexion. And now, having disposed of Basil's problem, Mr. DeMille, my sincere thanks for bringing A Doll's House to the air and allowing me to play Nora. And my appreciation, too, to Mr. Rathbun and to Mr. Jaffe, who made a special trip from New York to be here. And to Miss Netta Harrigan, Mr. Steele, and all the others in our cast. Thank you, and good night.
Thank you, Joan. Good night, C.B.
Good night, Joan. Good night, Basil.
There's another real treat in store for you next Monday night. In a moment, our producer, Mr. DeMille, will be back to tell you all about it. But while we are waiting, I want to tell you about our offer of a compact for the ladies. The response to this offer last week has been overwhelming, and it is repeated tonight so that no one need lose out. If you have not already sent for your genuine van-style double compact, by all means do so tomorrow. Or if you have obtained one and want one or two more for a gift or for a bridge prize, you may have it now. It's difficult for a man to describe this compact and do it justice. All I can say is that it's swell.
Perhaps I could help you describe it.
Would you please? Just tell the ladies in our audience how this compact appeals to you.
Well, this is really the sort of compact every woman wants. Thin and lightweight, a delicate horseshoe shape of graceful design, curved in the front and square at the back. And, of course, there's no advertising on it. The top is finished in gold effect and set in gleaming black enamel. The bottom richly tooled in a harmonizing pattern. It will remind you of a piece of fine old antique jewelry, and it's just as smart as it can be. The black and gold color combination makes it harmonize with any costume. It's a double compact with 2 compartments, one for loose powder and the other already filled with a cake of fine neutral shade rouge. And it's so easy to get rouge refills to match your own complexion. The clear, gleaming mirror is the full size of the cover. In many stores, this type of compact usually sells for $1.
Well, thank you very much, but this compact does not cost our listeners $1. For the time being, our Lux Toilet Soap friends can get it for 3 Lux Toilet Soap wrappers and only 25 cents in coin. Send for yours at once. Now, let me repeat that. You need only 3 Lux toilet soap wrappers and 25 cents in coin. Fold the coin into the wrappers and enclose in an envelope with a slip of paper on which your name and address is printed clearly. Don't send stamps. Address, Lux Toilet Soap, Box number 1, New York City. Your compact will be mailed to you promptly. This offer is good only in the United States. So, buy 3 cakes of Lux Toilet Soap tomorrow. Send 3 wrappers and only 25 cents in coin folded into them, together with a slip of paper with your name and address printed clearly, to Lux Toilet Soap, Box number 1, New York City. This offer is good only in the United States. Mr. DeMille.
From the stern drama of A Doll's House, we turn next Monday night to the gay romance of Columbia's highly successful comedy, Theodora Goes Wild. Starring in the title role will be the same delightful comedienne whom you saw in the picture, Irene Dunn. And co-starred with Miss Dunn, the seasoned sensational comedy find, one of the most versatile stars in Hollywood, Cary Grant. Our sponsors, the makers of Lux Toilet Soap, join me in inviting you to be with us again next Monday night when the Lux Radio Theater presents Irene Dunn and Cary Grant in Theodora Goes Wild. This is Cecil B. DeMille saying good night to you from Hollywood.
Our cast tonight included Celeste Rush as Ellen, John Russell as Ivar Helmer, Jackie Horner as Emmy Helmer, Frank Nelson as a messenger, and Eleanor Mitchell as Via. Louis Silvers appeared through courtesy of 20th Century Fox Studios, where he directed music for Josette. Your announcer has been Melville Ruick. This is the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Lost in Brazil and adventure waiting to be discovered. Join us as we uncover the soul of Brazil, one incredible experience at a time. Click on the link in the description and embark on the ultimate Brazilian odyssey.
Ladies and gentlemen, the secret word tonight is chair, C-H-A-I-R.
What is it?
Really, you're supposed to say.
Really, you're supposed to say.
You bet your life.
You bet your life.
It's Groucho Marx in You Bet Your Life, the comedy quiz series produced and transcribed from Hollywood and brought to you by the more than 3,000 DeSoto Plymouth dealers. The dealers who now have on display the all-new 1954 Plymouth, your best buy in the low-priced field, and who on November 5th will have on display the astonishing and beautiful new DeSoto for 1954. And now, here he is, the one, the only...
That old bore? Oh, that's me. Well, here I am again with $1,000, George, for one of our couples. Not $1,000, George. That's silly. $1,000 George dollars for one of our couples. Who's first?
Oh, we have a housewife and a druggist for you, Groucho. Mr. Sid Chambers and Mrs. Edna Robb Webster. Would you please come in and meet Groucho Marx?
Welcome for the DeSoto Plymouth dealer. Say the secret word and you'll divide $100. It's a common word, something you find around the house. That is, if you have a house. A druggist and a housewife, huh?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Sid Chambers, I presume you're the druggist. Huh?
Yes, sir.
Are you married?
Yes, sir. I have 2 children.
Where are you from?
I'm from Hollywood, sir.
Hollywood?
Yes, sir.
Only in Hollywood would a druggist have a butch haircut. Huh? Mrs. Edna Robb Webster, huh?
Yes, sir.
And is that a simple declarative? What do you mean by Edna Robb Webster, huh?
That's my name, Groucho.
Oh. You're a housewife?
Partly.
Well, which part, huh? Where are you from, Edna?
I was born in Marshalltown, Iowa, and grew up among the tall corn, but I didn't grow so tall.
Oh. Well, you'll find plenty of tall corn here tonight. How long have you been a housewife?
35 years.
35 years? Why, you're not that old, Edna.
Well, that's what my birth certificate says.
It does, huh? Does it talk? You say you've been married 35 years to
Yes.
Noah Webster?
No, to William Webster.
Oh. Well, what do you attribute the success of this marriage, the longevity of this affair? Anything in particular?
Well, I do think that many married people would be happier if they permitted each other more freedom in activities and interests and didn't try to dictate to one another and say, you have to do this and you have to do that. We don't do that in our house, either for our children or each other.
I think that's very wise. You notice what's happened to most of the dictators in the last few years. Are you still awake over here, sir?
Yes, sir.
Well, I'm not. I don't know about you. Well, let's get back to your pharmacy. Where is it?
Well, it's the Friendly Owl Rexall store in Westwood Village, Groucho.
Oh. What is your job there?
Well, I'm the pharmacist and the manager, Groucho.
And what does a pharmacist do?
Well, the specific duty of a pharmacist is to carry out the doctor's instructions.
Well, where do you bury them? You know, as long as we're talking about drugs, why do you always put so much cotton in the pill bottles?
Well, we don't charge...
By the time you drag that cotton out of the pill bottle, you can die.
The cotton...
Isn't even the kind of cotton you can use for cleaning out your ears. It's just a waste. You just have to throw it away.
Well, it's good cotton, Groucho, but you're not charged for that. The cotton is put in there to...
Why do they stick that in there around 4 in the morning when you're trying to find a pill?
Well, that's to protect the pill.
One night I swallowed the cotton.
That's to protect the pill.
Next day I had a fur-lined vest and I was naked. There's another complaint I have. I have 32 bottles at home, approximately, in my medicine chest. And they all say the same thing. Take 3 times daily.
Groucho...
Or doctor's directions. As directed, it says. Why don't you put the name of the medicine on the bottle?
Well, that's coming about. If you had 32 bottles in your medicine cabinet, I'd start cleaning house.
Well, they're not all medicinal. Some of them are fifths in there.
But actually, the doctors now are putting what is in the prescription and telling the pharmacist to write the name of the drug right on the label.
Yes, and how often to take it? The other night I thought I was taking 3 aspirins. It turned out to be 3 Benzodreams. I wound up jumping over my house.
That's the advantage, I think, of putting the name of the preparation right on the label.
That's right, and how often you should take it and when.
That's right.
Will you remember that?
I certainly do my best.
And give my love to your 3 children.
Thank you. It's 2.
Now let's play You Bet Your Life. Run your $20 no more than our other couples, and you'll get a chance at the big question later. You selected girls' names and song as your category. All of these girls' names have been popularized in music. I'll give you a hint from a song, and you identify the girl. Clear?
Yes.
Here's your first question. How much will you bet?
20? 20.
20?
$20.
Who is sweet as apple cider?
Ida.
Ida is absolutely right.
And you now have $40.
We don't pay the whole thing. Cantor pays $19 of that. Huh? Now you have $40. How much are you going to bet on your second question?
We'll bet it all, Groucho.
Okay. Through the black of night, I gotta go where you are. Who am I looking for?
Chloe.
Chloe is correct.
You now have $80.
How much?
All of it.
All of it, huh? Nature fashioned roses kiss with dew. It was the start of who?
Sweet Little Lonnie.
Sweet Lonnie is right.
You've now climbed to $160.
How much you gonna go for?
We'll go all the way, Groucho.
All the way, all right. Dum doesn't live here anymore.
Annie doesn't live here anymore.
Dum Dum is what I call her, but her name is Annie. That's right.
And you wind up with $320.
Well, thanks and good luck from the DeSoto Plymouth dealer.
Pleasure.
You're very smart. George, have you heard this old Scotch ballad? DeSoto's arriving, hooray, hooray. DeSoto's arriving a week from today. DeSoto's arriving, it's going to be great. So get out and see it, and don't you be late.
That's a fine song, Groucho, but it's not exactly accurate.
No?
No, you see, the stunning and remarkable new DeSoto for 1954 goes on display a week from tomorrow. Thursday, November 5th, to be exact.
I know that, Fenneman. But if you're so smart, let's see you rhyme hooray with a week from tomorrow. Let's see you rhyme anything for that matter. Rhyme orange for me, Fenneman.
I can't rhyme orange, Groucho.
Of course not. All you're good for is to remind people that Thursday, November 5th, is the day the stunning new DeSoto for 1954 goes on display. Give him that date again, George.
That's 1 week from tomorrow. Thursday, November 5th. The day the stunning new DeSoto for 1954 goes on display for the very first time. Be sure to see it at your DeSoto Plymouth dealers.
Now, before we proceed, I want to read a little note here. In the November 1st issue of Parade, the Sunday newspaper supplement, there's a story about Fenneman, Mr. Fenneman. It's titled, Groucho Always Picks on Me, and I think you may find it amusing.
I hope you do.
I doubt it. All right, George. On with it. Who's next?
Groucho invited some bakers to the show tonight in our studio.
I invited some bakers?
No, we did.
Oh, you said Groucho invited some bakers.
No, I said Groucho. We invited some bakers to the show tonight.
Oh, I see. You still said Groucho invited some bakers to the show tonight.
Anyhow, these bakers that got to our show...
How'd they get here?
I have no idea. Anyhow...
You're probably loafing on the job coming down.
I'd like you to meet a baker that we have here. His name is Mr...
This isn't Home Run Baker. He used to play with the Athletics.
No, it isn't. This is Mr. High Catan. His partner is Mrs. Ruth Bro. And here they come, folks. Would you please come in and meet Groucho Marx right now?
Well, howdy. Welcome to You Bet Your Life. Say the secret word and you'll divide $100. It's a common word, something you find around the house. Mr. High Catan, huh? Mr. Catan, I'll start with you. Where are you from?
New York City, sir, near Central Park.
Oh. Are you a squirrel?
No, sir. A baker.
A baker? You're a baker, so, well, you have to be from the East, don't you? Huh?
That's right.
You're a baker, so you have to be from the East, huh? I was kind of ashamed of that, so I mumbled it. Huh? Mrs. Ruth Bro?
Yes,
that's you?
That's I.
Where are you from, Ruth?
I'm from Monongah, West Virginia.
Where's that? And remember, I have no shame.
That's a small town.
I have no joke either. Huh?
That's a small town on the West Fork of the Monongahela. And we had some people in the service in our family. And I left the town in 1943 to join the Marine Corps.
Why did you join the Marine Corps?
Well, as I said, we had some people in our family in the service. We had a soldier, we had 2 sailors, we had a CB. And I figured it was time we got a fighting man, so I joined the Marines.
What did you do with the Marines?
I was a laundry officer.
Well, at least you were right up there on the line, weren't you? Now, Mr. Catton, let's hurry back to your bakery. I just love to smell hot bread. Have you had a bun on recently? Now, where do you work?
Delhaven Bakery in Beverly Hills.
Oh, Delhaven's. I've been there many times. Have you ever seen me in your bakery?
Oh, yes, many times. We appreciate having you as a customer.
Oh, I'm not a customer. I just go there on rainy days. Your oven is a wonderful place to dry my shoes and socks. Occasionally I stick my head in there, too. How would you describe your bakery? What kind of a place is it?
Well, we have quite a diversified line. We make French pastries and Danish pastries, German coffee cakes, regular American type of pastries, donuts, everything.
I think you're putting too much rye in your rye bread, Baker. How can you be all of these things to all people?
Well, you see, sir, we have a Frenchman making French pastry and a Dane making Danish pastry, somehow a Canadian making the German coffee cakes. In fact, we try to make everything that people will buy, like, and talk about.
Well, you said you were successful last week. Everybody at the hospital was talking about your cream pie. Well, I hate to change the subject, but now you're going to play You Bet Your Life. You beat our other couples, and you'll get a chance at the $1,000 question.
In the race for the $1,000, the druggist and his partner won $320, and the secret word is chair.
Here we go. Let's see how high I can bid you $20. You selected old riddles as your category. Here's your first question. How much will you bet?
Marine wants to shoot the works.
What kind of a coat is put on wet?
Paint. It's just coat of paint.
That's right. Coat of paint.
Well, you now have $40.
All right, how much of the 40 are you going to bet?
The whole thing.
What is black and white and red all over?
A newspaper.
A lexicographer, that's right.
You now have $80.
Here's your third question. How much of the 80?
Whole thing.
Let it ride.
Okay. When is a door not a door?
When it's a jar.
When it's a jar is right.
You now have $160.
Pretty sharp baker, eh? Your last chance to beat the other couples. You're going to bet the 160?
Shoot the works.
To what man do other men always take off their hats?
A woman. Woman.
To what man do other men always take off their hats? Talk it over. Your partners.
No man?
No, I'm sorry. It's a barber. Pretty easy. It's a real old riddle.
Well, Groucho, they...
Well, we can't let you leave here broke.
Lost all their money.
We're going to give you one question. You get this right, and you win $25. Who was president during Grant's administration?
President Grant.
Ulysses S. Grant.
That's absolutely right, and I'm sorry you didn't win more money.
Thank you.
I understand the new DeSoto is coming out soon.
November 5th.
My spies tell me that it's going to be out of this world.
November 5th.
They say this new DeSoto is going to be the greatest car ever built.
November 5th.
I don't like to mention it, but your needle seems to be stuck.
November 5th.
What's going to be so new and marvelous about this stunning new DeSoto?
November 5th.
You know he gets paid for this, and him a college graduate. I know, November 5th.
Folks, watch for the greatest new car ever built. The magnificent new DeSoto coming...
I believe that date you had in mind was November 5th.
Well, that's the date, Groucho. November 5th on our television show. The first TV view of the marvelous new DeSoto. Before we went on the air, Groucho, we selected a married couple. And now I'd like you to meet them. Mr. and Mrs. Everett Calicode. Would you please come in and meet Groucho Marx?
Girl in Calicode. Well, welcome for the DeSoto Plymouth dealers. Say the secret word and you divide $100. It's a common word, something you find around the house. Mr. and Mrs. Everett Calicode. What is your hometown, Ev? That's you, I presume.
That's me. I was born at Ironton, Ohio, on the river.
In the river?
On the river.
Is this near the Monongahela River?
No, that's the Ohio River.
Oh, does that empty into the Mississippi?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
It does.
After so long a time.
What's that?
After so long a time.
Well, sure, I didn't mean immediately. I mean, it didn't go right from the Sinton Hotel in Cincinnati to the Mississippi River. Took a cab. Mrs. Calicode, where are you from?
I was born in a log cabin in Brown County, Indiana.
You're not Abe Lincoln, are you?
I might be relation. I wish I was.
Well, I hope you are. By the way, Mrs. I can't keep calling you Mrs. Calicode. What does Everett call you?
Oh, you wouldn't want to call me that. My name's Helen Lucille, but I don't like Helen, so everyone calls me Lucille.
Well, why don't you like Helen? What has she done to you? How did you meet this buxom lad over here, Everett?
Well, our church was holding an open-air service, and Everett came wandering by. He asked if he could play our
wandering
guitar.
By? Was he on his way to church, or was he just casing the joint?
He was casing the joint for a girl.
Everett? You rascal, you. Huh? Is this where you usually prowled around on Sunday morning?
Oh, this was a Saturday night.
Oh, well, I didn't know that. Well, let's go on with this.
Well, he asked to play the guitar, and we let him.
He was a strolling troubadour, in other words, huh?
Not exactly.
Well, what attracted you to Everett besides his guitar playing?
Well, he...
Was there anything
just...
about him that you didn't like?
Yes.
Besides his guitar playing? Maybe that's simpler, that.
For one thing, the main thing that I didn't like, he didn't like children. And I think everyone should like children.
Well, Everett, have you revised your opinion in recent years?
Yes, I have.
You like them now?
Oh, I love children. And
do you have any?
We have 8.
8 children, eh? Never underestimate the power of a woman. Or a guitar. You know, that reminds me about liking children. W.C. Fields was one of the great comedians. Somebody once asked him, he said, Bill, do you like children? He says, yes, fried. You know, he pretended all his life that he disliked children. And when he died, he left all his money to an orphan asylum. He was a queer Quaker, this man, but he was a wonderful comedian and a great guy. And there's nobody around like him. Now that we're through with this sad soliloquy, Lucille, are there any problems connected with raising 8 children?
Yes.
In addition to Everett?
There are plenty of problems with 8 children.
I don't see why. After all, I've raised 3 myself. The only thing that keeps me from being perfectly normal is that I've lost my mind. Well, what are some of your problems, Lucille?
Well, an example, when we came to California, no one would rent us a place to live. With 8 children, they just laughed at us. So we moved into a 2-room apartment. And the health department heard about it. So they came around and looked at our place, and they told us we were overcrowded. Well, we knew it. And then they told us we had to move.
Well, Everett, how did you solve this dilemma?
Well, there was a very well-to-do industrialist from Burbank came over and bought us a 4-bedroom home and put us there, and it wouldn't take any money. Of course, we're going to pay for it. We want to pay for the home, but he did that.
Magnificent gesture on his part.
We appreciated it, too.
I imagine there's a continuous picnic at your house, isn't there, Everett? What are some of the forms of entertainment a large family like yours enjoys?
Well,
I mean, you're not playing the guitar.
Oh, yes. Well, we all climb trees together. That doesn't cost
the 10 of you go up a tree together?
Yes, we find a big tree that we can climb. It doesn't cost any money to climb trees.
No. Sometimes does to get down again, though.
Well, we go picnicking and do a lot of things as a family. It doesn't require any money. And we sing together.
Are any of your family out front?
Yes, 2. I have 2 daughters, is all. We brought them along.
How many girls do you have?
We have 4 boys and 4 girls.
Oh, it worked out fine.
Yes, it was.
Now, could you sing something for us?
Well...
What about the kids? Couldn't you have them come up and help you sing?
Well, we can try.
You all sing together like the Trapp family? Where are the children? Yeah, just in the short clothes or something. Now sing us. Real cute too, aren't they? Eh?
Like their dad.
What are you going to sing?
I'll sing an old spiritual, just a chorus of it.
All right, that'll be fine. Huh?
I'm going down to the River Jordan. You ready to go, guys?
I'm going to try it.
I'm going down the River Jordan, Will. I'm going down the River Jordan some of these days, hallelujah. I'm going down the River of Jordan. I'm going down the River of Jordan some of these days.
Let me in this.
River Jones, and he says, hallelujah, I'm going down the River Jordan. I'm going down the River
Well, we've had the Mississippi, the Monongahela, and now the River Jordan. Well, I'm sure you folks are more interested in winning a lot of money tonight than you are in hearing me gab, so let's get to work. Say, you sing mighty good together. Now, all you have to do is run your $20 into more than our other couples. You'll get a crack at all that money later on.
In the race for the $1,000, the druggist and his partner are still leading with $320.
Here we go. Let's see how high I can bid you $20. You selected famous children of fiction as your category. Here's your first question. How much will you bet? Talk right up loud.
$19.99, okay?
Okay, in Uncle Tom's Cabin, what was the name of the little girl who just growed?
Little Eva?
No, Topsy.
Topsy.
Topsy is right, huh? All right, now how much of your Topsy... No, how much of your $39.99 you going to bet? All of it. What was the name of the kids who found a witch's house made of candy?
Hansel and Gretel.
Hansel and Gretel is right.
Now I have $79.98.
They changed it later. They made it Frankie and Johnny instead of Hansel. Hansel and Gretel were sweethearts. Here's your third question. How much will you bet?
All of it.
All right, now one answer between you. Decide before you talk. What little Dutch boy was involved with the silver skates?
Hans Brinker.
Hans Brinker is right.
We now have $159.96.
Now look, you decide between you now before you answer now. Now, how much you going to bet? This is the last question.
All of it. All of it. Or are you frightened?
You've got a lot of faith. You go ahead. She says all of it.
In what book were Meg, Beth, and Amy the central characters?
Little Women.
Little Women is right.
And you wind up with $319.92. And that means the druggist and his partner with $320 in just 1 minute get the chance of the DeSoto Plymouth $1,000 question. Ladies and gentlemen, listen to this. Thursday, November 5th, is going to be your very first opportunity to see the stunning, magnificent 1954 DeSoto. This 1954 DeSoto is such a remarkable car, with so many advanced engineering features and such great beauty of line that you won't want to miss it. That date again is Thursday, November 5th. That's D-Day. D for the outstanding new DeSoto for 1954. Mark that date down now. Thursday, November 5th. Your first chance to see the dramatic new DeSoto for 1954. Now, Groucho, here's our winning couple, the druggist and his partner, all set for the DeSoto Plymouth $1,000 question.
Early in the 17th century, the Lord Protector of the British Commonwealth made a statement that since has been widely quoted. Trust in God and keep your powder dry. For $1,000, what was this great soldier, statesman, and civil administrator? Who was he? Okay, what is the answer you two have decided upon? Take a stab if you don't know.
No, we don't know, sir.
Well, make a guess.
Oliver Cromwell.
Oliver Cromwell is right. Oh, I never thought I'd have to plead with somebody to take $1,000 away from me. Well, you win $1,000 plus how much in the quiz, George?
Well,
$320? That's $1,320 you want. What are you going to do with all that money?
Well, there's so many places for it, but I think I will send some to my niece who is a missionary in Korea.
Oh, well, that's a wonderful way to spend the money. But I want to ask you one question. Why were you so reluctant to say Oliver Cromwell?
Because I couldn't associate Oliver Cromwell with powder, gunpowder.
But you knew that there was any question, any answer was better than nothing.
Yes, I did. That's why I said it.
Well, you didn't. I had to force it out of you.
Well, I mean, finally.
If you had any manhood, you'd give me $500 for that. What are you going to do with your dough?
We'd like to maybe put another room on our house. It's getting a little small as our family's getting a little larger. So.
Oh, I see. Well, I have no answer for that. However, congratulations from the more than 3,000 DeSoto Plymouth dealers from coast to coast.
Thank you.
You bet your life.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
Be sure to tune in again next Wednesday night at the same time for the Groucho Marx Show, when the big question will be worth $1,000. And don't forget Groucho's television show, also brought to you by the DeSoto Plymouth Dealers of America. Remember that the dealers who sell the remarkable new Plymouth, engineered and built to be your best buy in the low-priced field, will have the magnificent new 1954 DeSoto on display November 5th. DeSoto, Plymouth. Two great new cars, both products of the Chrysler Corporation.
And when you drive in, tell them Groucho sent you. Good night, folks, and remember, just be sure to see the distinguished new DeSoto.
Folks, here's a reminder from the National Safety Council. When driving, signal your intentions and slow down gradually. Remember, quick stops invite rear-end collisions.
Lost in Brazil invites you on an unforgettable journey, where every moment is an adventure waiting to be discovered. Join us as we uncover the soul of Brazil, one incredible experience at a time. Click on the link in the description and embark on the ultimate Brazilian odyssey.
I'd rather have a Raleigh.
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 Because Raleigh is the only cigarette that gives you all three. The Raleigh Cigarette Program, starring Red Skelton, with Gigi Pearson, Verna Felton, Pat McGee, and our tiny singer Anita Ellis, our guest Wonderful Smith, David Forrester and his orchestra, and yours truly, Rod O'Connor. It's a pleasure to bring you Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer's popular comedian and the star of the Raleigh Cigarette Program, Red Skelton.
Really happy. Thank you very much, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Say, Rod, did you hear me on Dinah Schroeder's program? Dinah was really swell to me. She gave me some bird's eye frozen food, but I can't find any place to cook it.
Well, Red, don't tell me you haven't found a place to live yet.
Well, I'm spending my time between the Beverly Wilshire Hotel and the Wilshire Palms.
Really?
Yeah, a nice vacant lot between the two of them. I'm living in a tree now.
Well, isn't it cold?
Cold? It's freezing. Last night I opened my suitcase and my shorts were wearing my long underwear. My clothes were frozen stiff. I fell out of the tree in the middle of the night and broke my pajamas.
Why, you're kidding, Red. No, the other day you told me you'd found a room.
Yeah, that's true. I was living the life of Raleigh.
You mean Riley?
Now, I know the side my sponsor's buttered on.
Well, tell me now, what other hotels did you stay at last week?
Well, let's see. I'll have to open my suitcase and get the towels out. I can't remember the name. One night I finally got a bed into the Biltmore, but they wouldn't give me a room to put it in. Oh, Anita Ellis, does that invitation to stay with your folks still hold good?
Well, what happened to that room you had at the YWCA?
Well,
Oh, come on now. Don't tell me that Skelton stayed at the YWCA.
Yes, and I loaned him one of my dresses.
Well, you could at least have worn slacks.
Oh, I wouldn't have looked like a woman if I wore slacks. I'm not fat enough.
Well, how long did it take him to get wise to you?
Until my 5 o'clock shadow turned into an 8 o'clock shade. I was the only girl at the YWCA with red whiskers. Say, you know, I hear that the landlords are sending a lobby back to Washington, and 18 congressmen are already sleeping in it.
I guess the housing shortage is the biggest problem of the day.
Yeah, I wish I knew what to do about it.
A car a day given away.
Say, why didn't I think of that before? For 2 Raleigh wrappers, you can get a house on wheels.
Well, no, Red. Most people will use them for driving. Think of it. 7 brand new 1946 Chevrolets given away every week by the makers of Raleigh cigarettes. Nothing like this has ever been done before. And it's so easy to win. We have another winner to announce right now, and she won just as you can win.
Simply complete this sentence in 25 additional words or less. We should all buy victory bonds because. Send your entries to Raleigh Cigarettes, Box 1200, Chicago, Illinois, together with 2 complete wrappers from 2 packs of Raleighs.
Isn't that wonderful? A man buys his girl a couple of packs of Raleighs one day, and the next day he's learning to drive with one hand.
Well, remember, you know, there's a new contest every day, so you have plenty of chances to win. And think of the prize. A magnificent new Chevrolet. See them at your local dealers. They're beauties. Modern, streamlined, deluxe. And what a thrill when you slip into the driver's seat. A shiny new car, all yours. Get started on your prize-winning sentence tonight. And now, another winner.
Winner of December 15th, Mrs. Ronald E. Colbeck of Portland, Oregon. Congratulations.
Okay, Mrs. Colbeck, you can give Junior his scooter back now.
And we'll announce more winners before we leave the air tonight.
And remember, Raleighs are the only cigarette that gives you all 3. Throat protection, better taste, lasting freshness.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Say, Anita, did I tell you how lovely you look tonight? You always look like you just stepped out of Vogue.
Why, thank you, Mr. Skelton. You look a little out of vogue yourself. Do you like my dress?
Yes, very much, very much.
How do you like my open-toed shoes?
Is that what they are? I didn't know if your toes were creeping or your shoes were backing up. Well, if David Forrester will lower the baton, we'll hear Anita Ellis sing, "It's Been a Long, Long Time."
Kiss me once and kiss me twice, kiss me once again. It's been a long, long time. Haven't felt like this, my dear, since can't remember when. It's been a long, long time. You'll never know how many dreams I dreamed about you. Or just how empty they all seem without you. So kiss me once, kiss me twice, kiss me once again. It's been a long, long time. Kiss me twice, kiss me once again. It's been a long, long time. Can't remember this, my dear, since can't remember when. It's been a long, long, long time. You'll never know how many dreams I dreamed about you, but just how empty Kiss me twice, kiss me once again. It's been a long, long time.
Thank you very much, Anita. And now we open the pages of our Skelton scrapbook of satire, and we find Chapter 20, the story that deals with the topic of the day entitled The Housing Shortage. The characters are fictional. If they resemble any people living, them I gotta see. If Stephen Foster could have foreseen the housing shortage of the day, his lyrics might have gone something like this. The sun shines bright in my old Kentucky home. 'Tis summer and the old folks are gay. The young folks roll on the little cabin floor, trying to trip the man from the OPA. Chapter 21. Once upon a time there was a detective named Willie Lump Lump. He solved everything but his own housing problem.
Howdy, Chief. How's the world's greatest detective?
Oh, shut up. I'm trying to solve a very tough case. It's a missing identity.
Willie, you'd better
Who
go
am I, huh?
Willie, you'd better go home and turn in.
Home, he says, home. A chair and a mattress in the alley back of the Palladium. You call that home? Don't make me laugh.
Well, don't tell me you're homeless again.
Again, I ain't had a good home since Pete's pool room burned down. I'll never forget old Pete. Boy, the way he used to tuck me in the sawdust every night.
Well, I guess you'll wind up sleeping in the doghouse.
No, I tried that once, you know. My dog said to me, he says, I know a doghouse you can rent. See? So we go down to the place, but the dog in charge wouldn't rent any dog that had people. He said I wasn't a desirable lieutenant anyway. He talks so loud he couldn't hear himself bark. Say, I'm expecting a real estate man named Wonderful Smith. If he comes, tell him I'll be right back. I'm going over to Joe McGregor's pool room and write some letters.
Well, why don't you go to the post office?
There's no kick in the ink. Come here.
Greetings, Chief Lump Lump. Greetings.
Greetings again? I just got out. Say, you're a Wonderful Smith from the real estate office. What do you find, huh?
Oh, there's good news tonight. I have found you somewhat of a private room. Only 13 in a bed. Bed, that is.
13 in a bed? I can't sleep 13 in a bed.
What's the matter, superstitious?
No, I just don't like the wear and tear on my hot water bottle. Can you imagine 26 cold feet in the middle of my back? Besides, I can't sleep with strangers.
Oh, but hear me out. Hear me out. For $3 extra, they'll give you a personal introduction to the other guests.
Well, I'm not interested.
Please hear me out. Let me see now what else I got on my list. Oh, yes, here's a house, but it's haunted.
Haunted? What's that?
Haunted house? Well, that's the house where people used to live, but it's still living.
That ain't what it says here, but you got out of it. I don't think I'd be interested, you know. I don't like anybody I can see through. I couldn't sleep, you know.
Ah, but you'd sleep so well you'd hope you'd never wake up. And they don't guarantee you will.
Well, I'm not interested.
But hear me out. Please hear me out.
I'm hearing.
I'm out.
Well, look, I gave you $30, and you ought to be able to find me a nice apartment with maid service for that, you know.
This boy has been away too long. Well, I'll keep looking. And if you want me in the meantime, I can be reached in room 334,972,722.
You weren't with field artillery, were you? Hey, what kind of a hotel is that with that many rooms?
Who said anything about a hotel? That's the number of a boxcar down at the railroad yard. Well, goodbye, gentlemen.
Well, I got that off my mind. I guess I better get back to my detective work. Look at all these fingerprints all over the floor. I must have come in upside down again last night.
I'll answer it. You wouldn't know what they're talking about.
Oh, yes, I would.
Oh, no, you wouldn't.
Oh, yes, I would.
Well, then you would.
Oh, no, I wouldn't. Hello, Raleigh Police Station, Tobacco Road Precinct. We never sleep. We can't find a room. We're kind of tired, too.
Who am I speaking to?
I don't know. I haven't been myself all day, you know. What can I do for you?
I need protection. I have a strange feeling I'm going to be shot.
What gives you a strange feeling like that? Huh?
This woman standing in front of me with a dirty look and a gun.
Well, wait, I'll be right over. Where do you live?
At the Broken Arms, apartment 6.
Broken
It's on
Arms.
Sepulveda Boulevard.
Sepulveda. How do you spell Sepulveda?
S-E-P-U.
Oh, what a shame. If he'd have lived on Vine Street, we could have saved him. Hey, O'Connor, there's been a murder. Let's go. Willie the Lump, the human bloodhound, is on the trail.
Okay, let's go. Here's your hat and leash.
Right down these stairs here. Right down here. I'm getting the bins.
Hello, what could I do for you, please? I am the landlady, Mrs. Conrad Bagel.
Well, I could have sworn you were Mrs. Beebe Eyes. I'm Detective Willie Lump. I got to ask you a few questions. You're the landlady, huh? How old are you?
Well, I was in 21 summers.
Really? Huh? Mighty hard winters you put in. This place where the murdered man lived, was it expensive?
$50 a month.
Yeah, the light and gas furnished, are they?
Yes, but what's that got to do with the murdered man?
Who cares? You don't think I come over to see an old dead body, do you? How about renting me that apartment? How about it?
Are you kidding? I hung the for rent sign out when I heard the shot.
Yes?
And the place was rented before he hit the floor.
And now the next page of the Skelton scrapbook, it's, someone give me an autograph here. Look.
Red, that's the name of another winner of a brand new Chevrolet. And before you read it, folks, here's how you can win a magnificent new Chevrolet. It's so easy because there are so many prizes. A car a day given away, 7 cars a week. Here's all you have to do.
Complete this sentence in 25 words or less. We should all buy victory bonds because.
Send your entries to Raleigh Cigarettes, Box 1200, Chicago, Illinois, together with 2 complete wrappers from 2 packs of Raleighs. You have plenty of chances to win because there's a new contest every day. Yes, winners chosen from entries received each day.
Entries judged on uniqueness, originality, and most convincing statement. Judge's decision final. Duplicate prizes in case of ties. Entries become the property of Raleigh Cigarettes. Contest limited to the United States and members of the armed forces abroad.
Now get busy. You can win just as this winner of December 14th. Yes, another winner. Go on, Red, tell him.
I won't tell him. I'm going to keep it a secret.
Oh, go on, tell him, Red.
Okay, Mrs. Helen M. Jackson of Cleveland, Ohio, you did it. You just won a brand new Chevrolet, and congratulations.
More winners announced on the Raleigh Room, starring Hildegard, tomorrow night.
And now back to John's other fishwife. Chapter 23 in the Skelton scrapbook is a picture of Oklahoma. The musical artist is David Forrester. If this were television and you could see his picture of daybreak, undoubtedly you would say, "Oh, what a beautiful morning." Chapter 25 in our scrapbook is entitled Room for Rent. No children allowed. Do you have a tenant that you would like to have moved? If so, call a certain grandmother who is related to the mean widow Ken. Must you stop right there?
Here you are, folks, at Bedlam Hotel.
Thank you. You're a very careful driver.
No, I didn't think he was so good. I saw 12 pedestrians, and he didn't get a one of them. How much is the fare? How much is the
Now,
fare?
Junior, where did you get money?
You know me piggy bank?
Yes.
I barbecued it. Here, I will pay it. I will pay it.
I'll pay it, Junior.
No, Ma. A gentleman always pays. Me mummy says anyone who would allow a lady to pay a bill is a bum. Now, how much is it?
$5.80.
$5.80? You ought to be ashamed of yourself. Making a bum out of a widow gentleman.
Here's the fare, driver.
Yeah.
Junior, you can pay me back out of your allowance a nickel a week.
A nickel a week? Is that a living wage? Goodness, you may not know it, Grandma, but the cost of jelly beans is zooming upward, you know. I'm going to need more money, you know.
Oh, my, isn't this a pleasant hotel? Look, there's a stained glass window.
Well, don't look at me. I didn't do that. Goodness, I never see stained glass windows before. Wonder what size bricks they'll take, huh?
Come on, Junior. Let's go see about our accommodation.
Yeah, we better see about rooms, too.
Junior, don't run.
You're going to have to put a few more links in me lease.
I keep forgetting I don't reach too far, you know.
Good afternoon, and what can I do for you?
I'd like a small apartment.
That's fine. The line forms in Kansas City.
But we have a reservation.
Yes, we do.
Oh, that's
With
different.
Indians and
Oh, yes,
everything.
that's different. By the way, there's one thing I must remind you of, madame. I have no personal objections to children, but I do not like hide-and-seek in the lobby, sliding down the laundry chute, fishing in the goldfish bowl, or pouring ice water into the telephone bell.
Would you mind repeating that last one again?
Pouring ice water into the telephone bell.
Oh, that's a good one, isn't it? Oh, boy, I had to put that down in me widow repertoire, boy.
All right, madame, I'll let you have a room. Now, will you sign the register, please?
Yeah, read it first. Don't trust these people, you know. Maybe signing your life away, you know.
Thank heaven
don't
for
look
that
very-
5-day OPA ruling. I do hope I'll be able to survive.
Front boy! Yes, sir.
Take this lady and the little boy to room 1209.
But what little boy?
Goodness, where did he go?
Hey, Nemo, look at me. Hey, kiddo.
Junior, get off of there. Don't slide down the banister.
Good heavens, he broke that Ming vase.
I didn't mean to break it. I didn't mean to break it.
Don't cry.
It was an accident.
Oh, bless his little heart.
Yes, bless me, widow
But my Ming vase.
I didn't mean to break your Bing vase.
Not Bing, Ming.
Bing, bing, what's the difference? It bang now, but...
Get them out of the lobby.
This way, please. Where's your baggage?
Here it is. The one with the stickers on it's me Namos. And the widow bag is mine. The one with the skull and crossbones on it. Careful with it, though.
Okay. Great day. What have you got in it?
Oh, just a few essential tools of me trade, you know. Careful, the lid flies off. You know. Oh, I told you to watch it. I told you.
Good heavens, Junior, what is all the rubbish? Slingshot, BB gun, scout knife, iron pipe. Junior, I'm surprised at you.
Stick around, kiddo. You get over that.
Here's the elevator, madam.
Okay. Well, now I'm in Grandma's asleep. I think I'll run up and down the hall to see what's cooking. That's what I'm going to do. Oh, listen, that guy snores. He must be dreaming he's a dive bomber. I'm going to open the door. Oh, look at that. I'm going to twist his nose.
Hey, let go of my nose.
Yeah, I'll let go of your nose.
What are you doing in my room?
Well, I'm sorry, but you were snoring so loud, I thought I'd turn off your buzzer there.
A fine thing. Run along to wherever you belong.
No, not me. I don't like reform schools. Not me. Hey, are you sick?
No, why?
Well, you got the same kind of bottle of medicine that my grandpa takes.
Medicine?
Sure, there. You see your doctor's name on the bottle, too. Dr. Boyben.
Oh, no, don't touch that.
Oh, look, I filled it all over the floor. Where did the little flowers go? Where did they go? They were there, now they're gone.
Come here, son. I want to talk to you. Come here.
Ah, no, kiddo. I see that shoe in your hand, and it ain't my size.
Junior,
Oh, they're closing in on me.
I heard something break, so I figured you'd be in here. Shame on you for disturbing this nice man. I expect he was a bit of a bother.
Isn't she sweet the way she puts in?
If you don't get him out of here, I'll do something desperate. Why bother to knock? Come in.
Oh, just as I thought. That atomic bomb with legs again. My, what a refreshing breeze.
Intoxicating, isn't it?
Look, are you the manager?
Yes.
I'm checking out. I wouldn't stay in this joint another second even if it was raining and sleeting and I had to sleep on a park bench.
Mr. Trinky, it's against the 5-day ruling, but if you'll overlook this incident, you can stay another day free of charge.
Ain't it exciting, huh?
I wouldn't stay here if it was a matter of life and death, and personally I think it is. Goodbye.
I'm truly sorry, and I hope Junior hasn't been too much bother.
Oh, not at all, not at all.
But if you don't lock him up...
Yes, Junior, he's gone again. Junior, what have you done now? Oh, he frightened me half to death. I caught him peeking in the keyhole. Junior, why did you peek in the keyhole?
Because I'm not tall enough to look over the transom.
Junior, it's wicked to peek in a keyhole.
Well, it's their fault. They shouldn't expose me to temptation. Why do they build keyholes at eye level?
Well, I'm checking checking out.
Oh, but Miss Evans, you're supposed to be ill.
Well, I was only pretending so I could have a place to live. But this isn't living, and I'm checking out.
I can't stand this much longer. Little boy, did you ever think of being good?
Yes, I did, but I wasn't interested in it.
Junior, I've stood enough. That last remark did it.
Oh, you hit me. You broke me neck. You knocked me neck out of place. You knocked me neck out of place.
There, I put it back again.
Well, why didn't you leave it alone in the first place?
Madame, I'd like to speak to you.
Never mind, we'll pack and leave.
But why?
Because you hate me.
Oh, no, I don't hate you. I love you. Why, with you here, my life would be a pleasure.
Oh, now, don't be sarcastic.
I'm not. You see, before you came, people were griping about having to move. But now it's a pleasure. Happy day.
Oh, come on, let's move out of
Why?
here, Grandma. Because I like all the little kids. Once I have no restrictions, it takes all the pleasures out of me activities, you know.
And remember, we'll all be with you on every Tuesday night at this same time. Red Skelton, David Forrester and his orchestra, Anita Ellis, Verna Felton, Gigi Pearson, Pat McGee, and our guest, Wonderful Smith, and yours truly, Rod O'Connor. Until next Tuesday, then.
This is Red Skelton saying, please don't travel unless you have to, so the boys can come home. And thanks for listening.
And remember, listen to Hildegard tomorrow night, and The People Are Funny Without Linkletter Friday night over most of these stations. Red Skelton is heard in this program through the courtesy of Metro Goldwyn Mayer.
Sir Walter Raleigh. That's the tobacco that leaves your pipe as clean as a whistle. It's carefully blended from rich, ripe burleys and mellowed with just a touch of rum to balance the natural, full-bodied flavor. Get Sir Walter Raleigh, the quality pipe tobacco of America.
Red Skelton is brought to you by the Brown & Williamson Tobacco Corporation.
National Broadcasting Company. National Broadcasting Company.
Enjoying the timeless classics on Golden Age Radio? If you're loving the nostalgia and captivating stories, consider supporting our channel with a tip. Your generosity helps us continue bringing you the best of vintage radio entertainment. Simply click on the link in the description.
Kraft presents The Great Gildersleeve. Each week at this time, Kraft presents from Hollywood, California, Harold Perry as the Great Gildersleeve, written by Leonard L. Levinson. We'll hear from the Great Gildersleeve in just a moment. But first, we might say that one good thing at least has come out of the world crisis, and that is that we Americans have learned that the right kind of food, and plenty of it, is vitally essential to national health and morale. And realizing this, we Americans can become the strongest nation on earth. That's why you homemakers should know about delicious Parquet margarine, made by Kraft. Because Parquet margarine is an economical source of nourishment and energy your whole family needs. Yes, Parquet margarine is a highly nutritious food, one of the best energy foods you can serve. And equally important is the fact that every pound of Parquet contains 9,000 units of vitamin A. What's more, your whole family will like Parquet margarine's delicate, appetizing flavor. Yes, delicious Parquet margarine makes everything taste better, whether you serve it at the table or use it for baking or pan frying. So try this nourishing, economical food. Buy a pound or two of grand-tasting Parquet margarine tomorrow. Just ask your dealer for Parquet, P-A-R-K-A-Y. And now let's visit our friend, the Great Gildersleeve.
Where's everybody? Oh, there you are, Marjorie.
Oh, hello, Uncle Throckmorton. Did you bring the things I wanted for dinner?
Yes, here's the flowers, the after-dinner mints, and the candles for the cake.
I hope this wasn't too much trouble.
Not at all, my dear. The market was so crowded I just drifted with the tide. That's how I happened to get this quart of clams. Yeah.
How many of these candles do you think we should put on Judge Hooker's birthday cake, Uncle?
Well, I don't know. How many cakes did Bertie bake?
Oh, now, Uncle, I don't think it'd be polite to put on more than 30.
Well, if that's all the candles you're going to use, you better burn them at both ends, then.
I don't think he's that old.
No? Say, he's got a Lincoln penny that he got from Lincoln.
Uncle Morton, I do wish you'd make an effort to get along better with the judge, especially tonight at dinner.
Well, seeing that it's his birthday, I'll give him a break.
You will?
Yes. I won't insult him until he insults me first.
Say, do you think he's going to be surprised when he finds out we know it's his birthday?
Oh, he'll be dumbfounded. He's got a good start, too. He's been dumb ever since he was founded.
Oh, Uncle.
Huh?
Now, Judge Hooker's really awfully sweet.
Well, it doesn't show in his face, then. By George, if I had a puss that sour, I'd take it out and drown it. Say, something smells mighty nice around here.
Oh, it's a dinner Bertie's fixing.
Oh.
And is it going to be delicious?
You know, that Bertie is a real treasure. Her dinners are always delicious. The only trouble is I'm beginning to develop what is known as second helping spread.
Well, what do you mean?
Well, my laps are starting to overlap.
Now, don't talk that way, Uncle Mort.
Huh?
You're just the right weight for a man of your, weight.
Yeah. Well, maybe so. Everything's expanding these days.
Oh, by the way, Oliver Honeywell's coming to dinner, too.
What? Oliver again? Seems that every time we sit down to eat, there's that overgrown St. Bernard puppy yapping around the table.
Well, his family's out of town, and Oliver doesn't like restaurants.
Of course not. They charge for meals. You know, I don't like to appear inhospitable, Marjorie, but I'm beginning to get bored with Oliver as a boarder.
Well, his family will be back by Thanksgiving. Say, by the way, when is Thanksgiving?
Anytime Oliver's family comes back. Another thing, Marjorie, can't you persuade him to get a haircut?
Oh, well, he says the barber shops frighten him.
Huh?
He cuts his own hair, and it gets long enough for him to reach.
Well, somebody should drop a hint that it's time for the fall harvest. Or else buy him a paper of booby pins.
Uncle, you mean bobby pins.
You heard me, Marjorie. Oh, let me see. Have we forgotten anything?
Oh, I don't think so. Let me see now. Dinner, presents.
Yeah. Oh, I ordered a cute singing telegram delivered at 10 p.m.
Oh. Say, what time did you what time did you tell the judge to be here?
Well, I said that, oh, my goodness. Where's my hat?
Right in your hand. What's wrong?
I forgot to invite somebody.
Who?
Judge Hooker.
Hey, Marge, here comes Seabiscuit.
Why, Leroy, what do you mean?
Oh!
Hello, Oliver.
Oh, Midgie Widgie. Gee, you look lovely this evening. How do I look?
Gee, you look lovely, too, Oliver.
Hello, Meatball.
Hi, Oliver. How's all your allergics tonight?
Leroy, now be more polite. You mustn't make fun of me.
Here's Judge Hooker, Marjorie.
Oh, hello.
Everybody. Hi.
Dinner will be ready very soon now, Judge.
Really, Marjorie, you folks shouldn't have gone to all this trouble.
No trouble at all, Judge Hooker. We had to eat anyway. By the way, Judge, do you know Oliver Honeywell?
You mean that anemic young calf that hangs around, Marjorie? I've heard about him, but I've never seen him.
Well, take a good look. This is him right here.
Hello? What? Oh, say, don't mind me. I'm always kidding, Oliver.
That's the trouble. Everybody's always kidding Oliver.
No. My boy, you mustn't get bitter. Say, why is your ear all bandaged up?
Huh? Oh, I did this afternoon when I was giving myself a haircut.
You mean to say you cut your own hair?
Yeah, I do it with mirrors.
But what happened this afternoon? Did the bowl slip?
No, I was using manicure scissors. I guess I didn't allow for the curve.
Well, your hair looks very pretty with the scalloped edges. Oh, excuse me. Come in.
I'm from the telegraph company.
Oh, for goodness sakes, you're too early, boy. Later.
Yeah, but I got a message.
Come back at 10 o'clock now. Beat it before you spoil everything.
Yeah, but...
Wrong address, folks.
Say, can I give it to him now?
What? Oh, the present for the judge? Why, sure. Let's all give him his presents now.
Right.
Happy birthday,
Judge Hooker.
For me? Now, I wonder what's inside.
Listen to him. You'd think he was a sweet 16 instead of a sour 60. Go on, unwrap him, Judge.
All right, I will. Thank you.
Oh, he's opening yours first, sis.
Yeah.
I hope you like it, Judge.
I'm sure I will. Well, what do you think? A necktie.
Well.
Just what I need. Thank you, Marjorie. Now, let's look at the next one. With all best wishes from Oliver Honeywell. Well, Honeywell.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have done this.
Gee, another necktie.
Yeah, isn't it nice? A yellow one with green polka dots.
You know, I got one just like that for Christmas last year.
And I'll bet that's it.
Well, let's see about this one. Although it is not Christmas Eve, here's a present you will receive from your old friend, Throckmorton Gildersleeve.
Yeah. Catch on? It's a poem, Judge.
Another necktie, purple this time.
Yes, just matches your complexion, Judge.
Thank you. I wonder what's in this package. It's from Leroy, I see.
One guess, Judge Hooker. It's a necktie, all right, but this one's different. It's got a picture of Superman on it.
Yeah. Well, now that the necktie party's over, let's trot into the dining room. Judge, Bertie's fixed a special new dish in your honor.
Is that so? I'm flattered.
I thought you would be.
What do you call it, Gildy?
Calf's brains a la Judge Hooker.
No, thanks. No more. No more. My, that certainly was a delicious cake, and beautiful, too.
Yes. With all those candles lit up, we had enough heat to bake another cake.
Have your fun, Gildersleeve. I'm so full of wonderful food, I don't mind. Oh, that was a marvelous meal. I wish I had a cook like your Bertie.
Well, what happened to your cook, Judge?
I let her go when I found out that after fixing dinner for me, she'd go out and have her dinner in a restaurant.
Oh, excuse me. I wonder who that can be. Yes?
I'm from the telegraph company.
Not now, I said. Come back at 10 o'clock.
Yeah, but I got a date at 10 o'clock.
Break it.
What was it, Gildy, old man?
Nothing at all, Judgy. Just a boy out looking for the wrong house.
Say, if you don't mind, I'm going into the kitchen and thank Bertie for that wonderful dinner.
Oh, well, don't overpraise her, Judge.
I won't.
Remember, too many compliments spoil the cook.
Something I can do for you, Your Honor?
No, Bertie, I just wanted to tell you that dinner you just served was an Epicurean collation.
Is that considered good?
I didn't think it was good. I thought it was a gastronomic achievement.
Oh, you didn't like it?
I did, too. And I consider myself a pretty good judge.
And so do I, and I'll be glad to vote for you. When's the election?
Next spring. No, I mean judge of cooking. Wish you were working for me, Bertie. That Gildersleeve is a mighty lucky dog, but he doesn't really appreciate you.
He don't?
But look at the way he makes you wash those dishes, getting your hands all chapped and red.
Well, man, them's rubber gloves.
Well, the least he could do is to buy you a nice electrical dishwashing machine. I've got one in my kitchen. Say, you'd have a lot of fun operating it.
Well, I don't know. I may be old-fashioned, but I prefer to dunk the dishes in water instead of electrocuting them.
Great sense of humor you have there, Bertie. By the way, did I ever tell you about the fine big maid's room in my house?
No, sir. Is it pretty?
Is it? It's got everything but Rochester.
Certainly sounds like the elephant's earrings to me.
Yes, and of course, I'm not home more than 3-4 nights a week, so that means my cook has plenty of days off and very little to do. What do you think, Bertie?
Well, I think you're going to make some gal a wonderful employer.
Well, you don't understand. I want you as my cook.
Me? But I've already got a position.
But think what it would mean to your social position among your friends if you were to cook for Horace Hooker.
Yes, sir. That certainly would impress the other members of the mysterious and bewildering orders of the Daughters of Cleopatra, which I is the head sphinx. But, of course, I just couldn't do it.
Why not? Has Gildersleeve got you under contract?
No, sir. I'm here strictly on a meal-to-meal basis.
Well, then, where no contractual entailment exists between principal and agent at the time of severance of service, notice of termination is not required, ipso facto.
Ain't that the truth?
Yeah, that's common law.
Oh, it happens often, huh?
Well, yes. Say, after you left Gildersleeve and come to work for me, you wish that you had left old Stupid over...
Old Stupid over what, Judge?
Well, that is, I was saying to Bertie that it must be hard working all stupid over a hot stove.
Oh, yeah. I see. Well, come on back in the living room. The kids want to play pin the tail on the donkey, and you're going to be the Democrat.
Bertie, and don't forget what I said.
You mean about the ipso facto?
Yes. And the quicker you ipso, the sooner it'll be a facto. Come on, Gildy, old pal. Let's go into the other room.
Yeah, all right, Judge. Here he is. Well, children, what shall we do?
Well, I think it'd be just dandy if we played Drop the Kleenex. Huh?
Yeah. Oliver, don't you mean drop the handkerchief?
Well, I figured that the other'd be more sanitary.
Yeah.
How about musical chairs or something like that?
Well, I bet I know who that is. Come in.
Mister, this is positively my final appearance. Here's a telegram for you.
Look, it's not for me. It's to this gray-haired gentleman right here. Oh. No. Don't hand it to him. Huh? It's supposed to be opened and sung.
Oh, but I don't think...
You're not paid to think. You're paid to sing. I'll break in the song, young man.
Well, okay, but remember, you asked for it. Me.
Yes, you.
Me. Mr. Throckmorton, T. Gildersleeve, I'm in awful bad jam. Can you send me $50 to bail me out? Signed, your brother-in-law, Sam.
What? Home telegram. Get out of here.
Gildersleeve residence.
Good morning, Bertie. This is Judge Hooker. How are you this bright and sunny morning?
Dull and cloudy. I was up all night trying to decide between remaining where I is with the status quo or packing up and moving over to the ipso facto.
I just telephoned to tell you that whatever your salary is now, I'll better it by $10 a month.
$10 a month? Judge, you done just hide yourself a cook.
Fine. How soon can you come to work?
Well, that depends on how soon they let me go.
Well, cook up some excuse to leave quick. Bye.
That's going to take a mess of doing. Oh, nobody knows the trouble I was getting into.
Oh, Bertie, is breakfast ready?
Yes, sir.
Good morning, Bertie. You better set another place, Bertie. Oliver invited himself over for breakfast again.
More people to feed. Just working myself to a shadow.
Now, Bertie, can I help it if that biological blunder... come right in, Oliver.
Thanks. Good morning, Bert. Oh, prunes again, huh?
Don't you like the way I fix breakfast?
Of course he does. Oliver, never wrinkle up your nose at a prune.
Morning, everybody. You too, Oliver. Say, what is this? Prunes again?
Now, if you don't like it...
Yes. Leroy, sit down and pass the toast.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Yeah. Where's Marjorie? Isn't she... Oh, darn this toast.
What's wrong with that toast?
It just went down the wrong way.
Oh, you don't like it. And after I worked my fingers to the bone, straightening it off for you.
Yeah. But all I said was wrong way.
Oh, now I'm doing things the wrong way. Teaching me my business. I'm tired of not being appreciated around here. I was resigning. There's other people who likes my cookery.
Well, Bertie seems to be a little twittery this morning.
Gee, she never acted this way before.
You think she means that about resigning?
Say, I better find out what's wrong. Now, Bertie, I don't understand what... Bertie, where are you? Oh, Bertie! Oh, Bertie!
Oh, Bertie!
Oh, Bertie!
Oh, my goodness, Bertie has flown the coop. Come. Wake up, Leroy. It's time to go to school, young man.
Just give me another 15 minutes, Bertie.
This isn't Bertie. It's Uncle Mort. I just haven't shaved yet.
Oh. Hi, Unc. Where's Bertie? Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah. Wake up, young man. Look at the clock. You want to be tardy?
It's okay with me.
Come on, Leroy. Wake up. Oliver's fixing some nice hot mush for breakfast.
Oh, just let me sleep 10 minutes more.
I can't, Leroy. By George, I'm going to pull the covers off of you.
Oh, no, don't do that. I'll get up.
Yeah.
Say, where's Marjorie?
She's downtown interviewing cooks at employment agencies.
Mr. Gildersleeve, help me quick.
Oh, Oliver's in trouble in the kitchen. Get up, Leroy. Coming, Oliver. Yes. Now, what's the trouble?
Oh, it's the mush I'm fixing for breakfast. It keeps overflowing. I filled 4 pots already. No, I need another one.
Oh. Well, here's a double boiler, Oliver. Now keep stirring or it'll start burning.
Gee whiz, I never knew mush multiplied like this. Just seems to go on and on and on.
It's a morning cereal, isn't it? Oh, jumping jelly beans. What is it now? Oh, good morning, mailman.
Oh, good morning, Mr. Gildersleeve. I've got a postage due letter here. It's 3 cents, please.
Surely. 3 cents. Here you are.
Oh, thank you.
Say, this letter's for Bertie Lee Coggins. She doesn't work here anymore.
Oh, yes, that's your cook. Say, I've got a change of address for her. Better give me that letter back.
Certainly. Oh, by the way, what is her new address, if it isn't violating any professional secrets?
Oh, it's 2100 Burnside.
2100 Burnside. Thank you very much. 21. That address sounds familiar to me. Where have I heard it before? 2100 Burnside. Why, of course. Leroy!
Yeah?
Oliver! I know who hired Bertie away from us.
You do?
Yes, I should have guessed it before. It was the judge.
No.
Yes, that crook of a hooker hooked our cook. Wait till I lay my hands on him. He stole our Bertie, the horse thief. At last, hooker, I finally tracked you down.
What do you mean, track me down? I'm always in my chambers this time of day. What do you want with me?
Why, you oily worm, you got our Bertie. We want her back.
Nothing doing. Now get out.
Oh, that does it. I'm going to create a vacancy on the Superior Court bench.
So put down those bookends.
I will not. Stand still, you old goat, so I can hit you.
Now stay where you are, Gildersleeve, or I'll press this buzzer.
I won't stay where I am. I'm going to knock you. What happens when you press the buzzer?
My bailiff will come in and drag you down to jail.
Yeah, it's a frame-up. That's what it is. First you steal my cook, then you upset our whole household, and now you're going to railroad me to the caboose.
Uh-huh. So the big balloon's losing all its hot air. Your threats didn't work, Gildersleeve. You're a beaten man.
You don't have to rub it in, you judicial Judas. I know when I'm licked. We can't find anybody to do Bertie's work. We can't find where she puts anything. We haven't had a decent meal since she left.
You haven't? Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to be too hard on you. So, if you promise to behave yourself, maybe I'll invite you over to the house for dinner sometime.
I wouldn't sit down at the same table and eat a meal with you, hooker, if I were starving. What am I talking about? If I were starving, I am starving.
I knew that your stomach was bigger than your stubbornness. You can come to dinner tomorrow night if you want to.
I don't want to. I wouldn't humiliate myself to the extent of what time tomorrow night?
7 o'clock. And don't forget to bring Marjorie and Leroy.
Of course I won't forget. But that's the only reason I'm coming. I'm just doing it for the kiddies.
Now remember, Uncle Mort, if this scheme is to work, you've got to keep a tight control over your temper.
Who, me? I never lose my temper.
And Leroy, now don't overdo the business of being sassy.
Oh, don't worry, sis. I'm a born actor.
Well, I guess we're all ready. Gee, we surely look like tramps, don't we?
Yeah.
Well, go ahead and ring the bell, Uncle.
Yeah, all right.
Now, on your guard, everybody. Here she comes.
Yeah.
Oh, hello, Miss Marge.
Hello.
Hello, Leroy.
Hello, Bertie.
Good evening, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Yes, good evening.
Won't y'all kindly come in and rest your hats and coats? They look kind of tired.
Oh. Yes, of course. Come on in, children.
Well, come right in.
Oh, hello, Judge Hooker. So sweet of you to invite us. You have no idea how we're going to enjoy this.
Hiya, Hooker. How's the cooker?
Leroy, don't you talk that away.
Oh, hooey fooey. You can't boss me anymore, Bertie.
Leroy, behave yourself. Oh, I just can't imagine what's gotten into you lately. You used to be such a little gentleman.
Oh, who wants to be a gentleman? I'm going to be a heavyweight prize fighter and chew tobacco.
You ain't going to be no prize fighter long if somebody hits you smack on that chew of tobacco. And look at your hair. Somebody must have been trimming it with hedge clippers.
Nope. Oliver showed me how to cut it all by myself.
You never did these farmadiddles when I was there. Why...
Bertie, isn't dinner ready?
Yes, sir. Well, when you needed a haircut...
Then serve the first course, please.
It's sitting on the table.
Oh, shall we go in now?
Yes, sir. Come on, Leroy. Come on, Marjorie.
Okay,
I'm starved to death.
Yes. Well, how do you think everything looks?
Oh, just splendid. Except for Bertie.
What's wrong with Bertie?
Well, I think she must be worrying. She's got dark circles under her eyes.
Nonsense. Incidentally, you shouldn't talk coming here without a shave.
Oh, yes, that reminds me. Bertie, where did you hide my good razor? I've looked high and low for it.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Gildersleeve. It's out on the back porch. I used to carry it with me when I went out in the backyard at night. Sort of discourage, late visitors.
Bertie, isn't it time to bring the soup?
It's right here. Oh, Mr. Gildersleeve, I fixed a special turtle soup for you. I know it's your favorite.
Well, thank you. It's a darn expensive to make. We don't have it very often. But I'll come over here every day if you'll cook it for me, Bertie.
Oh, I'll be glad to.
Splendid. You mind if I bring over Oliver? He just loves turtle soup, Bertie.
Uh-huh. Well, you're invited, Gildy.
Yeah.
Boy, this soup is super.
No matter how you like it, Leroy, you just eat it. Don't kiss it.
Leroy isn't your responsibility anymore, Bertie.
Yes, the judge is right, Bertie.
But I know how to handle him. You just send him over here.
Bertie, pay attention to your work.
That's just what I'm doing. Oh, Miss March, that bandage. You done cut your finger.
No, Bertie, I burned it. Well, ironing.
Oh, honey, how many times have I told you you ain't got no knack for ironing?
Somebody's got to do it, and we haven't found anyone else yet.
Then I'll come over tomorrow afternoon and do it for you.
Oh, wait a minute, Bertie. You're working for me. You can't do that.
Oh, yes, I can. I got 3 afternoons off every week, and if I wants to spend them ironing for Miss March, nothing in the world can stop me. Ipso facto, habeas corpus, or post-mortem.
I tell you, I won't stand for it. As long as you're working for me, you can't spend all your time straightening out Gildersleeve's messes.
By George, I can straighten out my own messes, you little...
Oh, Uncle, remember now, you mustn't.
Oh, yes. Excuse me, Judgy. What were you saying?
I was just telling Bertie to quit acting like one of your family.
Well, I've been a member of that family so long, I just can't up and quit all at once.
Don't be foolish. Here you have all the extra time in the world.
That's just the trouble. Nobody to cook for, except one dyspeptic that eats itty-bitty dabs. There's no big parties with lots of work like over at Mr. Gildersleeve.
Well, I must say that is...
And when I see that Leroy, who I practically raised myself, acting so fresh because he needs a guiding hand to slap him down once in a while, well, I just don't like this job, Judge. And if I thought Miss March would have me back again, I'd go right upstairs and pack my bag.
What? Why, you ungrateful...
Bertie, we'd be very happy to have you come back.
Okay, I was resigning, Judge.
But you can't do that. You haven't given me any notice.
I don't need to. Where there's no contractual entailment exists between the principal and the agent at the time of severance of service, notice of termination is not required. Ipso facto.
Oh, what's the use?
I'll get my things, and I'll be waiting out in the car when y'all get ready. Goodbye, Judge.
Bye. Oh, it's a fine mess. And I have a sneaking suspicion regarding how it all came about, too.
Why, Judgy, what are you hinting at?
Never mind. Oh, whatever are we going to do about this dinner?
Well, if you want to come over to our house, our Bertie will be glad to fix us up some ham and eggs, Judge.
No thanks, you sneak in the grass.
Look who's calling who a what and a where. Come on, children. I won't let you remain in this atmosphere a moment longer.
That suits me fine.
Yes. But there's just one thing I've got to do before I go, Hooker.
Let go of me! Get off of me! Help! Help! He's choking me to death!
What?
Stop! Uncle, don't choke him. Now, you must.
I'm not choking the little pipsqueak. I'm just taking back the necktie I gave him for his birthday. Come on, children.
Did I do my part all right, Uncle?
Oh, you were perfect, my boy. You were a regular dead-end kid.
This bandage on my finger bothers me. Can I take it off now?
No. Keep it on for at least another day or so, Marjorie. Or else Bertie might get wise that this was all a put-up. Ah, Bertie, there you are.
Yes, sir, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Are you all ready to come home with us now, Bertie?
Yes, sir. That was mighty cute the way y'all pretended things was wrong at home. Of course, it didn't fool me a bit.
What? We didn't? Oh, my goodness.
The Great Gildersleeve will be with us again in a few minutes. But right now, do you grown-ups listening and remember the good old cookie jar? Yes, and what a treat it was to come home after school and fill up on those wonderful cookies Mother used to make. Well, the cookie jar is an American institution, Every family with youngsters certainly ought to have one. And for making better tasting cookies to put in the jar, let me tell you about Parquet margarine, made by Kraft. You see, because Parquet margarine is so delicious for table use, it makes better tasting cookies, too. Yes, Parquet margarine is a genuine flavor shortening, not bland and tasteless. Parquet adds flavor to all baked foods. That goes for cakes and pastries, too. And for the same reason, Parquet margarine makes pan-fried foods tastier, too, and it doesn't spatter or stick to the pan. Another thing, whether you serve Parquet margarine at the table or use it for baking and pan frying, it's a nourishing, wholesome energy food and a reliable winter and summer source of vitamin A. Now, for all these reasons, you should keep plenty of economical Parquet margarine on hand. So tomorrow, ask your dealer for Parquet, P-A-R-K-A-Y.
It sure is good to be back in my own kitchen again.
Well, we're glad to have you back, Bertie.
Well, there's one thing that sure was a surprise.
What's that?
I expected to find the sink piled high with dirty dishes and ain't a single one.
No, we've been using paper plates.
Yeah, we broke all the dishes.
Yes. Good night.
Original music heard on this program was composed and conducted by William Randolph. This is Jim Bannon speaking for the Kraft Cheese Company and inviting you to be with us again next week at this same time for the further adventures of the Great Gildersleeve. And reminding you that America's first line of defense is you and your support. So invest to the best of your ability in defense savings bonds. Good night. This is the National Broadcasting Company.
Exciting news for a diverse culture of Brazil. Lost in Brazil brings you to captivating videos showcasing heart-pounding adventures, mouth-watering cuisine, and hidden gems of this incredible country. From bustling cities to tranquil beaches, our videos capture the essence of Brazil's beauty, experience the warmth of its people, the rhythm of its music, and the thrill of exploration. Click on the link in the description to find out more.
I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to Old Time Radio Research Group for their remarkable efforts in preserving and archiving the captivating world of old-time radio programs. Their invaluable contribution allows us to step back in time and experience the magic of radio history firsthand. Their link is in the description below.